What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Untitled Nerd Show, bringing you all the nerdiest discussions on all the nerdiest news. We are AD and Tara. Say hi or just smile, that's fine. Joined by Nerdy Farmer and Nerdy Wife.
Hi, guys!
I say nerdy news, but this week's big topic is not so much nerdy news, although it is affecting the nerdy world. Unfortunately.
Hi, Soul Creek.
Sup, Soul Creek? What's up, Obsidian? Before we get into that, though, I just want to say, I think
People Bunny.
Hey, what's up, Bunny?
Hi, Bunny.
The whole team is here. Holy cow.
The gang's showing up
party.
now. The gang's all here.
We got our full cast, and we got all our viewers here. It's a party.
Always is.
Yeah, so real quick, I think it's funny that, 2020 just decided that it didn't really have anything big for July, so we decided to come out with COVID Part 2.
Yeah, it just went back to its old bag of tricks.
The re-lockdown.
That sounds like the title of a movie so bad.
That's what I was going for.
It literally sounds like a sci-fi direct-to-TV title movie.
COVID Reloaded.
Has it not felt like we've been living in a sci-fi direct-to-TV film? Because it has for me.
Yes.
A little bit. I'm not gonna lie, a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
A little bit. I mean, we had murder hornets. Now we have evil sandstorms from the Sahara.
Yeah, but murder hornets never even happened. Murder hornets made a cameo, but they never actually got,
No. See, what's happened is people found out about them, and they're in some cocoon in some tree right now.
Yeah,
and they're going
waiting
to morph into those bugs from the movie The Mist, where they stab you in your whole face, and you explode and die. So that's what's going to happen. But that's slated for October.
I'm still waiting for the mummy bugs to come out of the dust.
The what?
The mummy bugs.
Oh, that's right. The scarabs are going to come with the dust.
You ever see any of those memes where people are talking about how 2020 is just like a badly written story with all these plot holes? Like, where did the murder hornets go? And all that shit.
I'm telling you, they're evolving somewhere. You know what, though? The thing I'm waiting for most... The thing I'm waiting for most is literally the South Park season this year. There's such a plethora of topics that they can make stuff about. It's going to be so amazing. Or they're going to cancel them after the first episode.
Is it still echoing for that last few seconds?
There's a nerdy echo.
We had you too loud on our speakers, I guess. We're still trying to figure out audio issues for this new room. It's smaller, so there's a lot more echo.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get some
sound panels.
I think, because there's a lot of. It's a tall ceiling, and I think there's a lot of sound absorption we could use at the top of the room. Surprisingly, though, you can't hear as much of the living room noise as I was expecting.
Yeah, it wasn't picking up at all last night
because they were watching a movie in there, and my boyfriend and our roommate they're loud talkers, but it wasn't that bad.
But
so yeah, we're nerdy news.
On to the hot topic. Let's pass it off. Pass it off to the women.
We can pass it off to the women. Let's give the intro first, the backstory, so that both women are fully informed. Tara, because I don't know how well you've been following this situation. So in the last 2 weeks, the content creator community on Twitch and YouTube, gaming community in general, has been a flutter of people coming out and bringing light to certain individuals doing let's say, not polite things to women because the people who are doing it are in a position of power type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the hashtag going around Twitter is speaking out.
Right.
And basically everybody, for me, actually, it started before I noticed it in like the gaming community. It started for me in like the wrestling industry.
Yes, it did start there.
Yeah, like a week prior to noticing it in the gaming stuff, I saw like a bunch of, women in the wrestling industry, like amateurs, even the professional companies, like the bigger companies, like just everyone speaking out about how, as they've been taken advantage of, while as they were trying to come up in the business, and all these stories about. I don't know.
I mean, let's be fair with the whole wrestling thing. Women have always been kind of objectified in the wrestling community.
Yeah.
Not saying it's right.
They are.
Anything should be done.
They are in the gaming community too. Like it's pretty much everywhere. So
yes, they're all objectified, and I can say this for AD and anybody on the show right now: we don't agree with defending people who objectify women or defending people who use their power to take advantage of women. We think all those people are scumbags and they need to be beaten half to death.
Yeah.
That being said, with the increased amounts of people who are telling their story or coming out and all this interesting information, there have been some allegations that have been, I don't know, your wife, how would you explain them?
Probably not a nice way to say it on screen.
You mean like just outrageous and unbelievable?
Yes, that's probably the nicest way to put it.
That's the nicest way to put it, yeah.
That's the nicest way to put it.
Because I don't want to say that people are full of shit.
Yeah.
But
this is where I'm handing it off.
Some
Nerdy
of
wife has
are
been following this closer than I have.
Definitely stretching and pushing things.
So I'm a little in the dark on this just because I have had quite a bit of things going on in Terra World. So I haven't been as in tune to the world in general over the past couple weeks. And so is there an example of someone I would know or someone really...
Do you watch Angry Joe?
No, but I know who he is.
Okay. He had an individual accuse him of things.
Okay.
Nerdy wife will give you the breakdown of it because she read it.
So
she increasingly got pissed off as she was reading.
This is the one that really frustrated me because her whole story is that she ended up meeting him. He took her to a dinner with a bunch of other content creators.
This is 2 years ago, by the way. It's
all this happened 2 years ago.
And she's just now coming out now.
And which the timing thing, I don't... Some people freak out about the whole timing thing as, she shouldn't have waited that long if something was wrong. But speaking out,
I have lots to say about that,
things,
but
so
I feel like that's a topic to discuss in and of itself. So, yeah.
Yeah. But she's accusing him of assaulting her with it.
Well, I don't know if it was quite assault. She was accusing him of quid pro quo. Tit for tat, basically. She through her statement, basically said that he was very... what's the word I'm looking for? Not forceful, but she was in an atmosphere where she felt that it was expected that she was going to have sex for him because he was hooking her up with all these different content creators and these gaming...
all these different connections.
Yeah. However, I'll let you continue because I'll give my opinion after you give your opinion because this is definitely something that you were passionate about, this whole situation.
I mean, she lied to him and said that she didn't have a boyfriend when he had actually asked about it, according to her own statement. I mean, she followed along with everything. She never said that she was uncomfortable.
In her statement, she admitted that she lied about having a boyfriend?
Yes.
She did.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, and then she told him at the end of the night, which then totally pissed him off. Which, to be fair,
No, I don't think she did say that at the end.
it's hard to tell that part of it because the end of the statement is, But no, I remember because she said that she was on the phone with her boyfriend at one point.
No, because he asked if she was on the phone with her boyfriend, and she said no.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Even though she was. That's what she was texting.
Like I said, she read it more times than I did.
So
Go ahead.
there's I'm just going to preface this by saying this is going to be an interesting show because there's a very good chance that I might have an unpopular opinion about this.
Okay.
But I want to say that I'm not, that I am a reasonable human being, and I do think that there's multiple sides to every story. Like Idea and I have discussed that these issues, in my opinion, are not black and white. They're not cut and dry. And it's possible to have fault in a situation on both sides, in my opinion.
One of the things she specifically brings up, and let me bring up I'm having to do this all by snippets from YouTube videos because she has deleted her statement from the internet.
But why?
But
backlash, probably.
She's getting quite a bit of backlash.
She is getting a lot of backlash.
She's getting a lot of backlash. Let's see if I can't find it. Basically, one of the ones was she went with him in the series of events that happened. She went with him after he did a panel. They met before. He went to a panel, or he did a panel, and he invited her to it. She went to the panel, and she was quote unquote. And I can't imagine this. I mean, Angry Joe is a celebrity, but he's not that big of a celebrity. But quote unquote, the PAX East security rushed them out a back door. And she was thrown into a car with Angry Joe. I just can't see that. It's not like Angry Joe is, Bruce
They don't
Willis.
even do that with the president unless somebody's threatening them.
Yeah. But
that's the part that
you could tell that she was, I don't want to say lying, but
she was embellishing.
Thank you. That was what she was embellishing the situation.
She was definitely exaggerating the situation, I think, on that.
So she gets to where Angry Joe, she thought that they were going straight to the party. And this is where I can maybe see Angry Joe is going to be considered him wanting quid pro quo. But, and I'll explain to you why I don't think that's true once we get to the point where they go to his hotel. And he tells her, I got to get ready. I want to take a shower and get ready. Okay? Now, at this point in time, and I don't know, and I'll ask a female perspective on this. At this point in time, if I was a woman and I was uncomfortable going to a man's hotel room.
That you just met.
Yeah, that you've really never known in person. You just know him as a celebrity. I would be like, I'm going to wait in the lobby for you. Instead, he invited her up to his room, and she went. Now, as a woman, if you're uncomfortable, are you going to speak up? Tara, nerdy wife?
It depends.
Okay.
I mean, and it does depend, but that's one of those things where I'll be like, well, we'll wait at the bar, and you let me know when you're done, and we can head out.
Okay. Tara?
So my answer would be different depending on which part of my life this happened to me in. And this is where I know that this might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm just urging you to hear me out.
Okay.
So right now, where I am, 33 well-adjusted, dealt with a lot of my insecurities and a lot of my daddy issues and a lot of, I've dealt with a lot of issues that are entirely mine.
You've grown up.
No, I would say I'll be in the lobby. Let me know when you're done. No, thank you. But I would say, and I don't know how old this person is, and I don't know that age matters really. But for me, if this was 3 to 5 years ago, my desire to be liked and accepted and to impress someone that I may hold at a higher standard, I would probably allow that to influence me to put myself in a situation where I wasn't entirely comfortable. And I know that because I did that. I put myself, and I actually have a story I'll share, but I don't want to derail us just yet, but there were times when I let those things wouldn't be the man's fault. I want to clarify. It's not his fault that I'm not communicating that I'm uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I own that I would at times put myself in a situation that I probably shouldn't have. And then stuff would happen that I didn't want to happen, but I would allow it because of my own problems. And so I can see doing that, but where I kind of diverge is I would not hold the other person accountable if I didn't communicate.
Correct. Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like, yes, I can see myself going up there because I don't want to ruin this, because I want to impress him, because I want this to go well. But I also wouldn't accuse him of, unless he knew that about me, which in this situation I think is unlikely. I can't really fault him for that. He's a dude. He thinks he's got a single girl. He may be attracted to her. He's taken her to dinner. He's inviting her to do things. And if she had said no and he behaved badly, then I think there's something to be said there. But I can't see that he's been told no and he's acting anyway at this point.
Okay, so let's continue down our trip.
So yeah, continue the after. So she goes to his room. Now they are not there alone. Angry Joe's partner, Other Joe, is there, which she states to be a fact. So it's not like he took her there for an intimate situation. Other Joe was there. And Angry Joe is getting in the shower. Now she's sitting on the bed, which I personally think is crazy that she's sitting on the bed. Anyway, if you go to somebody's room to wait, you go sit in the chair. Like, I haven't been to a hotel room my entire life, even like a cheap Motel 6. There's a little table and a couple chairs.
But we also don't know the situation with that. Other Joe could have been sitting in the chair for all we know.
Fair enough.
And I just want to clarify, there being another male in the room would not make me more comfortable. It would actually make me less comfortable.
Oh, fair. But being a guy, and maybe this is just me, maybe I'm just not one of those people who wants to involve, if I'm going to invite a girl into a place to do things with her, I ain't gonna have AD sitting in there with me.
Right. No, I get that. And I get that from a guy's perspective who has no ill intent, that you wouldn't think twice about that. Right. As a female who's been through some things, what I see is, okay, now I'm outnumbered and overpowered.
Okay. I can see that.
But that's just, again, that's because of me, not because of the individuals in the room.
Okay. Well, so they get there and Angry Joe goes to take a shower. Now, this is where she says, Angry Joe says something, and Angry Joe says he does not. Now, if he said it, I can see this coming off as creeper. If he did not say it, I can see this as her trying to embellish the situation to make it look worse than it is. What she says is, he says, hey, I'm going to jump into the shower. Would you like to join me? Now, I can see someone, even myself, if I got a girl there, as a joke, a poor joke, especially in that situation, but a joke, be like, hey, I'm not in the shower. You want to come along? And she says, I don't think she says no outright.
She doesn't outright say
she says you're
no.
funny.
She says you're funny.
Yeah, she says you're funny. And he goes, well, the offer's on the table. And he hops in the shower. He wasn't naked in front of her. He wasn't like, but if it was a joke that is said, and I can see it being
I know
said.
with guys, like you say it, and if she says no, it was a joke. But if she takes you up on it, then you get to have a shower with her. Like in his eyes, I could see that being like, this could be a win-win.
Yeah. Well, and I also know guys who would make the joke, and the girl's like, yeah, let's do it. And he'd be like, I was just kidding.
Fair. That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, let's be realistic. That was the joke that he used the first time we went out.
Yeah. No, it wasn't a shower. It
wasn't a shower. It was, hey, everybody coupled off.
That's because we went to the mall. I'll give you backstory on this a little bit, and I know it's derailed. We went to the mall, and I'm like, so what do you want to do? It's our first date. I was like, do you want to go get something to eat? She's like, no, I'm hungry. Do you want to go see a movie? No, I'm not. So I'm like, I'm offering like go play a game. No. So I'm like, screw it. You want to go get a hotel room? She looks at me. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
But anyway, not to derail the story. She says that he gets in the shower, gets out, and he sits on the bed next to her, not like right next to her. And he's like, hey, you can sit closer to me, all that happy, creeper aspect, if you could say it. I think it's just being friendly, but, whatever. And she's like, are we going? And he's like, yeah, we're waiting for the table. And he convinces her to sit closer and closer to him, and he snaps a selfie. And she's like, it was against my will. He's using this selfie to prove that I was consensual with everything. I don't see that as a manipulative tool. I mean, do you?
No, not that. I mean, to be honest, this seems like a
selfie with someone doesn't mean that you're agreeing to, suck their dick.
No, to be honest, this seems like a situation where he was coming on to her, which I think is okay. It's allowed to make advances. And she wasn't saying no. She wasn't communicating. And maybe in retrospect, she really regrets that decision. And this is how it felt to her, but that doesn't mean that's the way it was,
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of what she wrote seems to come off that way.
Like, to me, it sounds like
is an after the fact, I fucked up, and it's his fault.
Yes.
I feel like it's okay to look back and go, you know what? I was really uncomfortable, but the key is I should have said something. But sometimes maybe that's too painful, or you're not in a place where you're going to take ownership of your actions, and then you villainize the other person so that you don't have to take responsibility for not speaking up. Now,
well, and the story goes on, and this is where I totally agree with you. I don't think Angry Joe is doing anything wrong. I think he was I just think he was being a dude, and here's where
agreed.
I can honestly say he is. This is my reflection of why I think this is to be true. They finally head out to the restaurant where they're having the dinner before they have the after party, where they're mingling with all these different other creators and game industry representatives and stuff like that. When they get to the dinner, she makes a big, huge point of how he was just, telling everybody that I was his girl, because he told her to tell everybody that she was his girl for the party. Now, that could be interpreted in a couple different ways. One, him trying to insinuate, now you're with me, you're going to have to be with me. Or it could just be the fact that they were at a very expensive place and he was saying that so they would pay for her food. If you go somewhere and you bring a guest that isn't really a guest, they might be like, she paying for himself. So either way, but the whole time Angry Joe was like, this is a very expensive restaurant. This is so expensive. It costs money just to get the table and blah, blah, blah. To me, that just sounds like a dude is flexing.
Right.
It's like hey, check out my Rolex type situation. I have this money. He's flexing. He might be trying a little too hard at that point.
Maybe, but he's just trying to make sure that he's got dibs, basically, is what it sounds
Yeah.
like. Like, I'm not bringing you here to flirt with other people, so...
Yes.
I mean, again, I still feel like, I think what you said describes what I was trying to say perfectly, is that what I'm hearing is he was being a dude.
Mm-hmm.
He was just a guy who was given the impression that he had a chance.
Yep.
Exactly.
And she
I
did
can't,
nothing to tell him that he didn't.
I can't fault him for that. The only thing that I think in this instance that may be unpopular is that I can see how she allowed herself to put herself in a situation where she's uncomfortable.
Well,
I can see that too.
I think it's how she's handling it after the fact that you can really fault her for.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say it's how she's handling it that I have issue with.
Well, the night moves on. They move from dinner and they go to this after party. And she claims that he took her purse and everything and gave it to somebody else. Or she claims that. Angry Joe's fucking response to that was hilarious, and I can actually see it. He's like, I didn't take her purse. We checked our coats and stuff when we went to the place. You know, if you go to a high-end place, usually when you go to a place where they're having an after party like that, they have a coat check-in.
Right,
So
and
that's a normal thing.
It is, especially, like, I would check my purse if I was in a situation like that, because I don't want to carry it around, nor do I want to set it down somewhere.
There's even a lot of just trashy bars that you go to where the bartender will keep your purse behind the bar.
Absolutely.
So nobody steals your stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's a normal thing everywhere.
And even if she wasn't expecting it, I think from a guy's perspective again, I think that's just me going, hey, let me take care of your stuff so that way we don't have to worry about it, you know? Let me give you a check the bag for you, because that's the gentlemanly thing to do. Because usually when you do something like that, especially at a higher end place, you have to pay to check your stuff.
At higher end places, yes.
Yeah, so he might have just grabbed us and said, hey, I'm checking my stuff, let me check yours too.
Right.
You know, without thinking, you know? And that's something I can see myself doing.
But he even said he never touched her stuff. She checked it in herself.
Well, even like I said, even if it's the way she said it happened, that's how I can see what would be the situation.
Yeah.
So they're the mingling and blah blah blah. Now, from her perspective, she's like, yeah, he was always there. He was always on my arm and blah blah blah.
You know, he wouldn't let her out of his sight.
Yeah, and then at one point he spun around and pinned her against the wall to tell her how she shouldn't be flirting with people there and everything.
No, that was after she snuck out to...
Long story short, she goes to sneak out to call her friend. And he comes out and he's like, you know, from her perspective, she's like, are you talking to your boyfriend? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you're just like all the other ones, just trying to have sex with me to get, you know, into a position where you can mingle with people, blah, blah. So she's saying that he's trying to blame her and call her the villain. But at the same time, and here's why I call bullshit on that, at the same time, she then, in her own statement, says, but he offered to pay for my cab. But I wouldn't let him do it because I didn't want him to know where I was staying.
That's not how cabs work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's my point. Like, and he even says in his statement, yes, I offered to pay for her car ride back to where she was staying. Like to me, that just sounds like a dude who was trying to be a dude, and
that
finally
action
realized,
to me solidifies that I don't think he's done anything wrong.
Right.
Yes.
Because that is what you can be a dude, you can make advances. Like, I think that's okay. That's how people meet each other and start dating, right? I think at the first sign of her actually communicating any level of discomfort or whatever, he said, well, I'll pay for you to go somewhere safe.
Oh, yeah, to go where you want.
Yeah, and so that to me is he did what he was supposed to do, you know?
Well, to even more solidify that point, she, in her statement, said that she tried to make an excuse to leave because the guy that she was with, she claimed was super drunk. And she says he tried to stop her from leaving and his statement was, well, you don't want to be around a super drunk dude. Like, bad things can happen if you're the only one there.
Yeah, like it's not a safe situation.
Yeah,
Put yourself
which in reality is the truth.
Right.
So it honestly sounds like, hey, look, he's trying to be a dude. He was trying hard. He's finding out some stuff about her. Now he's finding out that she wants to go be with her drunk friend. He's like, that's not a smart thing to do. And then when everything really kind of blows up and it's like, oh, he's like, here, like, I'll pay for your car. You go home.
Right.
You know, it sounds like he was trying to be a dude, trying to, you know, be a dog and get him some meat.
But I mean, it's during that
And
last.
ended up finding out, oh, look, I'm not getting meat from here. And said, all right, cool, you do your thing. And
it's during that last argument thing that she says that he pinned her against the wall and, you know, that's when he assaulted her. Well,
yes.
Now she's saying that, you know, I never claimed that he assaulted me. When she did.
Yes. When somebody puts their hands on you without you wanting it is assault. Well, it's actually battery.
Her boyfriend from the time has actually spoke out about it and said
he did nothing illegal.
Never assaulted her. He didn't do anything.
Yep. It's but so there's the whole story. All right. Now you being an individual woman, both you and Nerdy Wife being women, because you know me and AD are men, we can't have an opinion on this. I'm going to give it anyway after you guys do. But what is your opinion of her allegations against Angry Joe?
So what really frustrates me about this situation is that I believe that these instances do happen where a female is, and I'm not going to, I know we all have some, well, she was doing this on purpose, or she's using this to her advantage, or, you know, that all may be true. But what frustrates me is that for every time there's a woman embellishing or exaggerating a story, there are 10 more stories that are real and true. And unfortunately, what happens is these stories get all this attention, and then the other 10 women don't get believed who are telling the truth. And that's what frustrates me about this. There is the aspect of, yes, he's being victimized or villainized, I guess would be a better way to put it. And that's not fair. And I do agree with that. But it's deeper than that for me, because I feel like when you act an ass like this and you paint yourself to be a victim when you're not, it cripples. And then these other 10 women that have real stories that were really done wrong by are hesitant to share their stories because they're watching this backlash of that she's getting, which she has earned, I believe. I do. She earned some of the backlash that she's getting. But when I have a story that I'm holding inside, I'm not going to be really seeing that. I'm going to be seeing that, oh my God, she's telling her story and everybody's mad at her. There's no way I could ever tell my story. Because what I know from my experiences, there are things I blame myself for, or did blame myself for, that weren't actually, you know, they weren't, should I have done them? No. But did they warrant the treatment that I received? No. But in my head, I will use that as a reason not to speak up. And my example is, I went on a Tinder date. We had been talking for probably a month because he lived far enough away that it just wasn't convenient for us to go on a casual date. You know, it was something that really had to be planned. And we would talk. We talked on the phone and via text. He was a doctor, which in my eyes, you know, was kind of a, oh, he's educated. He's had to,
good guy,
you know, be held accountable. You know, he's got to be a good person, right? He's a doctor. And we met up at a restaurant, and we both had several alcoholic drinks. I probably had a few more than I should have, knowing that I was in a situation with someone that I didn't know. And I made a choice to, after dinner, there was a hotel within, like, that shared the parking lot with the restaurant. And I made a choice to go with him to his hotel room. And once we were in his hotel room, he revealed by action that his version of sexy time involves a lot of pain. And he did cause me some pain. And luckily, I was able to get out of the situation. I wasn't permanently hurt in any way. You know, I had a few bruises, but he was so drunk that he ended up...
hurt is a general term. I think you are kind of hurt because you still remember it.
He ended up... He was so drunk that he actually passed out at one point, and I took that opportunity to get the hell out of there, okay? And because I did things that I recognize were stupid, I never told people about it. I didn't report him. I didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't do anything because I was like, well, I made stupid choices. However, in hindsight, I know those stupid choices did not warrant him hurting me, right? But in the time, you tell yourself that you deserved it because you made some stupid choices. And so what, unfortunately, the real stories out there are seeing in this is, oh, everybody's telling her she deserved what she got, whatever. And unfortunately, it sets a bad example. It makes people not want to speak up when they have real stories to tell. You know, it's so toxic to our culture, in my opinion, to put stories out there and have no accountability for my own actions or my own unwillingness to speak up. You know, if she came out and told this story and was like, I'm telling this story so that other women will speak up when they're uncomfortable and communicate and not put themselves in these situations, that would be one thing. But for her to completely put this blame entirely on him, own none of it, like, that is so frustrating. And just to touch briefly on the time thing, it was years before I told anybody about that incident because I was humiliated. I felt stupid. I felt like I knew better. And so for her to wait 2 years to tell a story, that doesn't bother me. Okay.
I don't think the length of time is what everybody is relating for the time.
There's a few people.
But I think the more general consensus is that, oh, she chooses now when there are a bunch of women who are already coming out.
Sure.
With maybe legitimate, and some of them are very legitimate issues and very legitimate things that need to be fixed. I say probably the majority of them are. However, they're saying that she's trying to, benefit from this spotlight that she can get.
Well, yeah, like because Sulker just said she was, on the downfall as a streamer, and now she's getting more attention because she decided to speak out.
Well, I want to say something on what Soul Creek said too, because Soul Creek says the entire Me Too thing is an influencer environment's a joke because you accuse the influencer themselves get financial gain for their. If you get assaulted, go to the police, not fucking Twitter. Now, having had personal experience with supporting individuals who have had bad things happen, I'm going to tell you, most of the time, the first person they come out to is not any type of law enforcement.
Absolutely.
Is not anybody that has any ability to do anything about it. And a lot of women, especially in the technological world today, feel more comfortable typing it out on a computer because they don't have to talk to somebody and they don't have to have somebody instantly, because that's what's going to happen with 90% of the time. There's either going to be a judgment or the person's going to be, hey, well, why did that happen? Or they don't want to deal with the questions. They just want to write down what happened and get it out. I'm not saying that they shouldn't tell the police. And I'm not saying that but that's having helped people with that situation, having been with people who are dealing with that situation, and as a nurse being trained how to deal with that situation, we're trained. We know that 99% of the time, a woman's not going to go to law enforcement or even to a doctor or a nurse or anybody who's in a position of authority. They're going to go to their best friend.
Yeah, but
They're
also
their sister. They're going to go to, they're going to go on the internet and type it out.
Also a big point of this whole social media thing is it's a way for all these women who have been through this shit for them to kind of come together and show support for each other. Like, hey, I'm sharing my story, so other women know that it's okay to share theirs. So
to me, I agree with that, AD. And to me, the important distinction is if you want that individual to be held accountable, then you take their name and all the information you have about them to the police. If you want to share your story because you hope it will help other women, then you share your story on whatever platform you have and you keep their name out of it. Because that, to me, allows the emphasis to be on the story and what happened. I'm not saying you shouldn't share your story. For example, I shared my story right now. This is the first time I've ever done it on a kind of a public platform. But his name, where he works, all those personal identifiers don't belong here. If I feel important that he be personally held accountable, I'm not going to do it in the court of public opinion. I'm going to do it with law enforcement.
And that's one of the big things.
But that's a big difference. And people don't do that. They want to call everybody out on social media and
the problem with
say how much of a horrible person they are.
Yeah, so they get
and then turn around and not go to the police.
Right. And here's
because they don't care about that part.
Well, because they know that if they go to the police, and this is where things are going to get really spicy, because I know Nerdy Wife and I probably don't see eye to eye on some of this, and I know there's people out there who don't see eye to eye with me on this one, but I don't believe a woman instantly. I don't believe anybody instantly. If somebody tells me something, I'm more of an objective individual. It's probably why I probably would never be a good counselor. I'm that's your side of the story. I don't necessarily believe you or disbelieve you, but I want to hear both sides of the story. I don't want to, I want to withhold judgment till I know all the facts, and the police are going to be the same way. And if you don't have any evidence, it's just your word versus theirs, nothing's going to be done. And, in the court of public opinion, the court of Twitter, the whole innocent until proven guilty is reversed. Now it's guilty until proven innocent. And I hate that.
Well,
I hate that somebody could come out and say, you did this, and destroy their life, destroy their livelihood, have companies cancel their stuff, have people ban them from platforms for nothing more than just someone saying something. And that's wrong. That's 100% wrong. You can support someone, if somebody comes to you and says this happened to you, you can hug them, you can be supportive of them, you can tell them, I believe you, but I want to hear it from them too at the same time. You could be supportive while finding the truth. And they're attacking people on Twitter. This is where I get pissed off. They're attacking people on Twitter and social media in general, canceling people just for saying, let's get all the facts first. And that's wrong.
So I do think that's true to an extent, that you have to hear both sides and you can't just pass judgment prematurely. But there are some cases where, maybe the story is pretty legitimate. Maybe there's multiple stories against one individual. So it's at that point, it's you're pretty much guilty. And I know it's a case-by-case basis. I cannot stand the overuse of the phrase innocent until proven guilty, because it seems like every guy's excuse to defend other guys, this whole bro code bullshit or whatever. And it's so misused because the full phrase is presumed innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. So all that means is if you haven't, had your case and been found guilty, then in the court of law, then yeah, you're not convicted. But like, if there's hard evidence already, you're fucking guilty. Like, there's no fucking defense. Like, oh, he's innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, but see, if you don't have all the facts, you can't make that presumption of whether or not
that's what I'm
guilty.
saying. When you are given the facts, it doesn't matter if you haven't gone to court yet and you haven't been found guilty. Like, if the facts are there, you're fucking guilty. There's no defense.
Okay, but that's the facts you're seeing. That's my point.
So where this...
We're not getting a whole picture. For example, we won't even talk about this. Well, say you have a murder, and you have somebody who, all the facts, his hands were on the murder weapon, he was there, he had opportunity, they even can establish motive. He's obviously guilty until you find out that, oh, wait, he actually didn't murder the guy. He literally, we have proof now. We found we found a video surveillance where he literally slipped while holding the knife and stabbed him. You see what I mean? Like, we don't have all the facts, and you're never going to get all the facts in social media. And that's my point. I'm not saying, and I'm 100% of the idea that 90% of the people who come out, they're not going to get a gold star. They're not going to get a feel good for coming out. They're probably reliving the situation that they went through, and it probably is horrible for them.
Right.
So 90% of them are probably actually legit. But it's the other 10%, like the one we just talked about, who we have to make sure that we're not punishing innocent people. You can't allow innocent people to be punished just because, oh, well, most of the time, this is how it is. And I don't think it's because of bro code or anything. I don't care if it's a man or a woman who's being accused. I don't care if it's a man or a woman who's accusing. Okay? I want all the facts. I'm not going to judge.
I'm with you, Nerdy. Unfortunately, though, these situations that we're talking about, there are more often than not, you're not going to be able to prove. So, for example, in this situation, okay, I gave you my version of the story, okay, and let's say he comes and he says, okay, yes, that's what happened, but what she didn't tell you is, and this did not happen, but let's, for the sake of argument, say he says, well, she told me she likes it rough.
Okay.
Now, there's no way to prove, short of video surveillance, whether I said that or not.
Mm-hmm.
And he will say, well, she told me that's how she wanted it. And now there's no way for me to prove because I didn't record the situation,
Well, most people don't. That's the problem.
And these are the situations when I think this whole innocent until proven guilty is unfair because I can't provide you with hard evidence.
And that's not something we can even rely on the court to decide because even in court, no matter how good your research is, you're never going to have absolute hard evidence. So like saying that, because all this evidence is out there, it's not enough. We have to wait until the trial. Like, how do you know that you're going to get the absolute evidence in the trial? Like, there's no perfect system. So,
and because of this is why what this individual is doing pisses me off even more, is because of those situations when at the end of the day, you're going to have to choose someone to believe. She is making it harder for us to believe the victim when we need to.
Oh, I 100% agree with you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That is one thing we see eye to eye with. the situations where people try to abuse the system and make it harder for us to just say, yes, that woman needs justice without even having to question it is a problem, and it's wrong. The problem not that's the problem. The reality is this does happen, and especially on the content creation world, like Soul Creek put on there, or Obsidian put on there. What if they just suspended them till the facts are presented? AD and I can both tell you, even as being small streamers, missing a week or 2 weeks or a month of streaming, however long it takes to get all the all quotations facts, can destroy your channel. You're no longer relevant. You'll lose 50 to 75% of your followers. You're losing a month of income that you have to maintain in order to keep your affiliate. And that's just, for people who are like me and AD who are small enough who aren't doing this for a living. Imagine if you were doing this for a living and somebody said, oh, we're going to put you on quote unquote suspension. You can't make any money and you can't make any content until we finish our investigation. Now what do you do? What do you do at that point?
Yeah.
That's like, that's the situations that I'm talking about. Like I said, most of the time I want to be like, yes, get that woman justice. Do what or that man justice, because women do this stuff too. Let's be clear. Women.
Yeah,
do
I want to point out,
too.
and I don't know who said it in chat, but they talked about how Terry Crews was treated when he came out, and I think that is criminal because it absolutely happens to men, and men. We say we don't think it happens because men are even less likely to share because of all the social norms. You're supposed to be the aggressor. You're supposed to be the tough one.
Well, it's always you're a man. You wanted it.
Yes,
you can't do it unless you want it.
That's not fair. And
especially when you look like Terry Crews.
Right. Exactly.
Oh yeah.
But it's like there's all sorts of ways you can
strong enough to stop them, and that's not accurate. It's not about your personal strength.
Well, it's about being in a position of power. If your boss says, "Hey, if you don't, diddle my hoo-hoo, I'm gonna fire you, and you need this job to put food on your table for your children," you're gonna be diddling. That's just how it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp. Yes, that's a very
example.
good one,
and
actually.
People don't take into account often enough. People always talk about the fight or flight response, but that leaves out one very common, very important response, which again is one that I experienced, and that is freeze. That is the other option, and it happens a lot where, yes, you may be strong enough, powerful enough, but something traumatic happens and you fucking freeze in your tracks and you don't do or say anything. You just freeze, and it's valid. It is a trauma response. It's part of one of the things, our brain is wired to do. And I think it's a valid, it's a valid reaction. And I think that because of the intricacies and the delicacies and the he said, she said that's involved in these situations in the beginning, we cannot afford to play around with these subjects and use them to our advantage or to someone else's disadvantage.
See, and that's why
the cost is too high.
Such a big issue with a lot of this is because so many are doing it just because they can get money from it, because they don't like the individual, so they're just going to say it regardless whether it happened or not, and that drives me absolutely insane.
Well, and it
pisses me off to no end, because like you said, people that have been through the situations and have experienced that, it all gets swept under the rug of, well, she's just another one of those bitches that's out to hurt somebody because they don't like them.
Right. And honestly, and I think it's stupid, and don't get me wrong, I think I'm stupid to some degree.
I agree. Sorry.
I think I'm stupid, but I have to be stupid to some degree. That I have to question these women because of 10%. Logic would dictate, well, if you get stuck in that 10% and you didn't do anything, it's better to find justice for the 90, and, well, that 10, it sucks. It's collateral damage. But we all know, and this is why I stick by the stupid, to some degree, is if you start allowing that 10% to get away with it every time, it'll become 15%.
Sure.
And then 20%. And then 40%. And then you have 50% of the time, it's a fake thing, and 50% of the time, it's not a fake thing. And then, so that means 50% of the time, a legit, normal, maybe even a gentlemanly, honorable person is getting their life destroyed. Because let's be clear, people who have their channels canceled, people who are just getting annihilated on Twitter or at all, especially in content creation, their lives are being affected. You lose 10% of your viewer, that's 10% of your income. It's not like, oh, they're doing this for, shits and giggles. I kept reading all over and over and over again, people saying, hey, look, you're affecting his livelihood. Let's just wait till we get everything lined up. And they're like, well, maybe he should just go get a real job. To these people, this is their real job. This is their day job. Angry Joe, for example, has employees. He employs people and has made a franchise and spent the last, 15 years on YouTube building his name and doing these things. So, yes, when these people come out and do these things, they're destroying people's lives. I mean, not to get into it too deeply, but look at the Brett Kavanaugh situation. She accused him of stuff, whether it's true or not true. The committee found it not to be true. It doesn't matter. Nobody will remember him as, the Supreme Court justice who stood on the right side of justice for whatever court case. They're going to remember him as the guy who was accused of raping someone. What other side you stay on that? But the point is that's how it works in the social side.
Obsidian, I agree. There needs to be something that happens to the people that make these false accusations.
There does, and more often than not, there's never anything that happens to them.
No, there's not. Because people twist it and say, well, they were just being brave for coming out with their story.
Yeah.
And I am all for, 100%, I'm all for women speaking up, even men, speaking up and saying what happened. Because
long as I agree with that, as long as there has to be actual proof that the accusation is false. Unfortunately, if there's no proof, then you run the risk of crucifying women who came out with a real story and they couldn't prove it.
And that's the other edge of the sword. I agree.
And
I was thinking about that.
I agree.
Yes.
It's just that's so dangerous. It's so dangerous. Just because,
it's as difficult to prove that somebody made a false accusation as it is for years after the fact. I mean, like you said, to prove
that it's real.
That it happened.
Because I, for one, and I'm not saying this to go down this path, but I believe the woman that accused Brett Kavanaugh. I believe she was telling the truth. And
I don't think, and to stand by what I said before, I don't think there was enough evidence on the table to prove or disprove it. I will forever withhold my judgment on that until, something or, anything comes out. But I don't think, and this is where I think most people agree with me. Just because somebody's accused of something and there's an investigation for something doesn't mean that people should have the right to drag their families through the mud, to destroy their livelihoods, to affect their businesses. Somebody's accused of something, fine, investigate. Do the right thing. Fucking bash them on the head and get them out of here, if you think it holds validity. But don't drag it out and it's infuriating.
that's still a issue, though, because it depends on who is being accused. And the reason why I say it depends on who is being accused, it's because if you have somebody that is in a position of power and is in a position where they can hurt somebody because the position that they're in, they need to be temporarily removed until the investigation is done.
Again, we've
Now,
already
with
established
the
on this type of
streamers-
platform, this will destroy them.
Yes, but you literally were just not talking about streamers specifically.
Well, no, but
That's what I'm saying. It depends on the position that they're in.
Okay.
I mean, the hell would you say against Kavanaugh?
Okay, but see, all right, we'll take the Kavanaugh situation. Depends situation they're in. So we're going to suspend a district court judge, and I don't want to get into the Kavanaugh thing. That's in the past, but
Yeah,
it's relevant. But like I said, anything you suspend anybody, whether it's a judge or it's a store owner, anything. You suspend anything, it's going to affect them negatively. Most of the time, rightly. 100%. But there's that chance. There's that 10% chance. You know, and I say this because I look at, I have a son. You know, the world he's going to grow up in, I need to make sure that this 10% of the time where he might fall into one day because he pissed off a girl or something, that he's protected. That there aren't people out there who are going to be able to just cancel his life, cancel his work, everything he's done, you know, ban him from going to that college or ban him from working at that company because somebody said something just because they don't like him.
Well, and that's part of the issue in general with all of it. I mean, I am absolutely sympathetic to that. And I definitely think that it's not that I'm on the team of men are always wrong, men are always dogs, you know, and it's not even a gender issue. I'm not saying that, you know, an accusation is, you know, it's so hard because in the same way that all the measures that you may take to protect the innocent can also be used by the guilty to avoid consequences, you know? And so it's like, I say that not knowing what the answer is or how you strike that balance or, you know what I mean?
I think it's the fact that, you know, whether right or wrong is the fact that to the general public, it's a bad look. To the inaction is a bad look. So like we go back to like the wrestling industry, you know, as whenever, you know, a certain wrestler is put under investigation, he is suspended until they have a result, and he can either get his job back or be fired. But on the wrestling company, if they were to just continue on like normal while this guy's under investigation and it turned out that he was actually guilty, how would that look? That they just kind of acted like, you know, everything was fine. You know, so they have to kind of do something to protect themselves.
Yeah, like I think, and the way Nerdy put it is, if I can use the position I'm in to prevent being found guilty or prevent experiencing consequences, then I don't need to be able to have those, you know what I mean? Like, and here's the thing, if I'm innocent, then it's just, then all those things should be restored and you should be made whole. But I think that you have to err on the side of caution here because you think about, and there's like no example I can give that we're all aware of that isn't controversial. But it's like when you have people like Bill Cosby and Epstein and all these people who have literally what is, for all intents and purposes, limitless funds and resources to make themselves as innocent looking as possible and to fight, against being held accountable. It's like, is it fair to at least take a few measures to make sure they aren't able to use those things to their advantage? Because in my view, if I'm innocent, then I know that that I can be made whole again.
Well, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head in a way, Tara. I think it's not a matter if you support men or women, or if you support hearing the victim or not support hearing the victim. It's whether you err on the side of guaranteeing justice or err on the side of guaranteeing protection for the innocent. In this type of situation, because like you said, the guilty can use this type of stuff, especially if they're well-off, wealthy individuals, can use it to not get punished. But at the same time, the powerful and the wealthy can do the same thing, or not powerful and wealthy, who are just, I guess you could say powerful in social eye. They can do the same thing to destroy a person who shouldn't be destroyed. And that's where most people are going to. And I'm going to jump on a limb here a little bit, but I would almost 100% guarantee that most individuals who have been through this situation or been through a situation that is related to this is going to be on the side of guarantee fucking justice because I didn't get mine.
No.
No? You don't think so?
No. Because I don't feel that way.
Well,
I mean, for the people that do actually press charges and go through that whole process, because it is a traumatizing process. You're reliving the entire thing, and you're not just going over it once, and telling your story once. It's over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
For God knows how long that trial will last.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want them to get their justice. But it's more complicated than that.
But that's where it comes down to: do you err on the side of getting the justice, or do you err on the side of making sure the innocent are protected? I think that's really the thing where it gets right down to it. We have to stand on one side or the other. I don't think there is a middle ground here, because if you stay in the middle ground, it allows both sides to abuse it.
I mean, it's the question that we're asking.
That you still
that
have
I think,
both sides that would abuse it either way.
Yeah, the question that we're asking that is very hard to answer is, which is worse? That a guilty person go free, or that an innocent person be convicted?
Mm-hmm. And honestly, we're not going to find that answer on stream today.
No. I just think that's ultimately, that's what it boils down to.
I mean, well, we might get it from, the Asian guy who's got thousands of years of experience in his genetics, right? You give us a tidbit of wisdom, AD.
No ancient wisdom for you.
No ancient wisdom for me. But yeah, I honestly think that that's where it lies. But like I said before, I don't think it's okay for people to have their lives destroyed just off of something somebody said. And if that means I err on the side of protecting the innocent with the risk of people who are guilty getting away with it because there's not enough evidence, I guess I err on that side.
I'll tell you honestly, I don't know which I find is worse, because I know that when when a guilty person goes free, that they're going to do it again and there's going to be more victims. But at the same time, like, I've seen documentaries and stories about people whose lives have been ruined, you know, who were innocent, that spent years in prison that shouldn't have. And so no, I can't decide, and that's why I'm not in the law enforcement or the legal system. Like, that's why I just can't decide.
I don't have a side, but like I said, I can understand why companies feel like they have to do something because of judgment from the public eye. You know, the reason why they, like, whether suspending a person is right or wrong, they have to do something because it looks bad if they don't.
Like, let's take a situation. Let's take the whole, two adults situation out of it. And let's look at as, let's say a teacher gets accused of something inappropriate with a child. I think in that situation, you have to err on the side of caution. You have to, because they're children. You know what I mean?
It depends on the age of the child. A very young child, absolutely, because it's not normal for them developmentally to even talk about stuff like that.
But I'm just saying, like, as a teacher, like, I'm using that as an example because I think it's an example that we could mostly all agree on, right? Is that that is a situation where the cost is too high and we have to err on the side of caution. And so, but I say that to AD's point. If let's say this teacher, if the school district doesn't suspend him while it's being investigated, like, that's irresponsible on their part. It's those situations where anybody that's associated, you know what I mean? Like, for example, it's a guy on a kids show, you know what I mean? Like, this person's being accused, we're going to continue to let him to be around kids and on our kids' televisions. Like, they have to err on the side of caution.
Okay,
so,
but then I would argue, if we're going to err on the side of caution, then I would argue that it's the responsibility of the employer then to ensure, while the investigation is being conducted, that the individual who's being investigated is A, being given the respect and the respect's a bad word, but the courtesy that is allotted to them as a person who is on the other side of the investigation, and B, some sort of financial restitution during the time of the investigation. Because even if a teacher is put under investigation, a lot of times they're put on payment. You know, but for a person who's in the public eye, and I keep coming back to streamers, but that's what really where the whole movement is happening in right now. A person who's in that public eye, losing that time is almost more detrimental than, you know, just being found guilty immediately, because you're not.
So this is going to stir the pot nice and proper, but I think when it comes to the public eye and these companies that are sponsoring celebrities, it comes down to capitalism, because even if the person was innocent, okay, me as, let's say, Nike or Monster or whatever, despite the fact that they're innocent, now that's all you're known for, and we don't want our brand associated with that, so we're going to cut ties either way.
Well, that's why there's contracts.
And, well, right, I'm just saying, like, companies make decisions based on profit, not based on morality. And
that's true.
When these situations impact their profit, they're going to protect their bottom line. Now, I'm not going to say, oh, good for you guys. You guys are doing the right thing. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, yeah, I saw that coming. You know what I mean? Like, it's an inevitability of the world that we live in, you know? anybody that starts to cause bad press for the companies that they're, being sponsored by, they're going to get dropped. And unfortunately, when you choose a career that puts you in the public eye, you are basically, there's some terms of that you're accepting, which is, I'm going to be under a microscope. I'm not going to be afforded the right of privacy and unbiased, evaluation. I am going to be judged in the court of public opinion as a public figure. And so I think those people, just like a teacher, needs to go the extra mile to make sure they're never in a situation where they could even be accused. I feel like to a certain extent, now, do I think a streamer of Angry Joe's, I don't believe he's one of those people, right? But to a certain extent, if you make your money on the public, the celebrities, you're an influencer, being in the public eye is part of how you fund yourself, then there's going to be some things that come along with that are going to put you in these situations. And I don't know if you have an oh shit fund or if you have insurance for this kind of thing. Like, I don't know what the resolution is, but I think that it's a risk that you take.
I mean,
I think
it is definitely a risk being somebody in the public eye. It's one of those things where you have to think about the situation that you're putting yourself in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's one of those things where, I mean, like, you shared your story of what happened with you. And I had things happen to me whenever in the past. And it changes how you handle every situation.
Yep.
I mean, there for the longest time, if I was sitting down in a restaurant, I could tell you what everybody around me was talking about. I could tell you what conversation they were having because I was terrified of what they could be saying and what could happen because of it.
Sure.
And it was like that for years.
I mean,
it wasn't until recently that things improved significantly for me, and sometimes he says not as much as I think it has.
Yeah, I mean,
but
I've lived through this as a supporter for. This is why, coming from me, most people are like, how could you support this? How could you support the idea of protecting the person who could be guilty? I've had someone very, very close to me before I even met Nerdy Wife, when I was younger, have to deal with this. I'm not giving any other information about that because that's
not your story to tell.
Not my story to tell, exactly. But for a long time, anybody said anything about anyone doing anything to any girl, in my eyes, instant. They were guilty. They had to have their ass fucking handed to them.
Sure.
Instantly.
So Greek.
But as I grew and I learned that there are people out there who will abuse that, I don't know, that crusade mentality I had.
Yep.
I realized that now I can't do that. I can't instantly have judgment on that person. And as hard as it is for me, it's a little bit less harder now because I've seen more, examples of the bad side of it. But especially at the beginning, as hard as it was for me to say, well, what really happened? Instead of just going and saying, I'm going to fuck that dude up.
Sure.
So I completely understand not wanting to pass judgment immediately. But if we think about, like what Tara was saying about having to err on the side of caution. Let's go back to teachers. If this were one of your kids' teachers under investigation, would you be okay with them continuing to teach your kids with these accusations? Like, if they were like pretty heavy accusation?
Nerdy wife says
if
no.
nerdy-
I saw that head shake.
if either nerdy child came to me and said that, absolutely, I'd want that teacher put on administrative leave while the investigation was completed. But I also wouldn't be standing on our front lawn or his front lawn with the gun ready to blow their heads off.
Right, I know. The question isn't whether or not you would instantly find them guilty. The question was, would you want them to be allowed to continue to teach, or would you want some action taken? Like, I want them suspended.
It would
Put
be
them
one of
on
those
administrative
things
leave
where
until the
action
investigation
taken.
is done.
Remove them from the classroom so they're not in that
But I also wouldn't want them.
position until the investigation and everything is
But
done.
I also wouldn't want them losing the ability to live. You know, I would want them to have their income to continue because they need to be able to live. Because if the investigation takes a month, 2 months, 3 months, could you imagine going 3 months without pay? You'd lose everything.
That's one of those things that's really difficult too, though, is I don't like that anytime there is any investigation going on with it, whether it's teachers or just some random person, the investigation automatically goes very public. And I don't think it should be that public. It's already an extremely private thing for the person who is making the accusation.
Well, it's also for the accused, too.
Yes. Because a lot of times they don't see it coming.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no reason that it should be that public. It should not be all over the news. It should not be in the paper. The entire town should not be talking about it. It should be, I mean, if it's a teacher, it should be a notice sent to all of the parents saying that, you know, there's an investigation going on, this teacher is temporarily stepping down, you know, and they have a social worker or something speak with
they wouldn't
all the
even
kids
need
to get whatever information they need.
I mean, for the public, they wouldn't even need to say it's an investigation. They could just say, hey, this teacher is taking leave for a while.
Yeah, I mean,
I think this is, and I'm not tooting my own horn or anything, but it goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you want a person to be held accountable, you need to do it through the proper channels. And it doesn't need to be the 5 o'clock news story. It needs to be a police matter. And if you want to share your story to help others, then you need to do it tactfully in a way that, you know, a great example of this, and this isn't going to be a shock to anyone, but Lady Gaga was taken advantage of by one of her early producers. And she chose to come out and tell a story, but she has never named him publicly. She has never gone about trying to destroy his life, his career, et cetera, et cetera. She's told because she wanted the story to... telling the story was more about not letting other people put themselves in those situations or allow that to happen, or if this is happening to you, don't let it continue. It wasn't, I'm going to drag this person through the mud, you know? And does he deserve that? No, probably not. He does deserve to be, you know, blasted, but it's not, that goes into those situations where it's not fair. You know, it's not fair because this is not a judge, or my Twitter followers aren't a jury. They, you know what I mean? Like this is, I think, the exact point where this becomes a much more complicated issue than it should be, is that all of this is so public, and it shouldn't be until we have more information. And then if we have enough information to say, like AD said, this person is fucking guilty, then sure, like put it on the milk cartons, tell everybody what a douchebag this guy is. But I think if you do that prematurely, that's when the innocent are really, an investigation shouldn't ruin someone's life.
Mm-hmm.
No,
It shouldn't.
Being found guilty should ruin someone's life.
An inconvenience to their life, absolutely, but
Sure.
it shouldn't destroy it.
Yeah.
And you know what? If I'm innocent, I will cooperate. I will be happy to answer questions because I want to make it easier for them to find those who are actually guilty. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you're always going to have, you're always going to have those individuals, even if the person is found guilty, or even if the person is found innocent, who are going to be, he didn't really do it. They railroaded him.
They're trying to make an example out of them.
Yeah, they're going to have the people going, oh, well, that person really didn't. He just had money. There's always going to be those people on either side who are going to be. I'm one of them. I don't think Cosby did it.
I'll be honest, I didn't even follow the news enough to form an opinion on it.
I do, unfortunately.
That's fine.
I don't want to believe it. It breaks my heart. I grew up watching him.
Yeah, so did I. And I'm not going to judge you for your judgment. And that's the other thing about this whole situation that I hate. If you think Cosby did it, and I think Cosby didn't do it, neither one of us were there, so it's all speculation on our part and with the information that we were presented. That's fine. I don't hate you for it. And I'm sure you don't hate me for it.
Right.
But if you post something like, on Twitter about how Angry Joe didn't do it, now you are the enemy. And the Twitter mob is coming after you. And
Soul Creek has said it a few times. The mob mentality is never to anyone's benefit, usually. Like, a person is smart and people are dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get them all in a group, and that's a movie quote, I don't remember which movie it is.
Men in Black.
Thank you.
Wow.
But
wasn't expecting that.
I think that that's the issue, is that whether you have a mob saying he was guilty, or you have a mob saying he didn't do it, it's not constructive, because chances of that mob having all the information is very slim.
Mm-hmm.
And the chances of all the people in that mob protesting that he's guilty or innocent for the right reasons is very slim. You know what I mean? Like, you start to people then have, financial gain from joining one bandwagon or the other, or, you know what I mean? And it just becomes, this mob mentality becomes very self-seeking.
Tribalism. It becomes tribalism.
Yeah. And it becomes very damaging, and there are situations, and this may throw a wrench in the whole thing, but, there are situations when people are found not guilty. That doesn't mean they're innocent. That means there was not enough evidence to prove them guilty. And
absolutely.
So it's like, sure, no, I'm not sharing my personal opinion about this, but like the classic instance of this in the public eye anyway is O.J. Simpson. He was found not guilty because the prosecutor failed to present a case that was beyond a shadow of a doubt. And so do we know that he's innocent? No, nobody knows that except for him, really.
Well, I'm sure his lawyer knows.
All we know is he was found not guilty by the courts.
That's why we go back to my hatred for the overusage of innocent until proven guilty, because it's misused.
I think the better phrase would be not guilty until proven guilty. But that's just me.
Not guilty until proven guilty.
Because I think there's a difference between innocence and not guilty. And that may be splitting hairs, but...
It is splitting hairs, but it's accurate.
Honestly, I think that the phrase should be wait and see.
There you go.
Just wait and see, and let everything be investigated properly. Because like you said, and this is what it happens every time. It doesn't matter what topic comes up. If it's polarizing, you're gonna have two tribes, and they're gonna freaking go at each other's throats, and they're gonna try to destroy the tribe that believes in one thing that the other tribe doesn't believe in. You know,
well, I mean,
it's like the Me Too thing.
I hate what the Me Too has turned into.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely hate it, because initially
it was a good thing.
It was a good thing. It was people telling their stories, bringing a community of support together, which absolutely is needed, because it's a difficult thing to go through. And telling your story is extremely difficult. But it has turned into, like somebody in chat has said, it has turned into a witch hunt.
Yep.
It's turned into me calling out somebody for something they did or didn't do.
And we're instantly going to punish them.
And everybody out to punish them. Whether it's, somebody that works at a Burger King and a coworker and them had an issue. Well, now instantly it's people blowing up corporate and blowing up, the phones there and yelling at all the managers until they have to fire the person.
Until like Katie said, now they have to do it because it's affecting their business as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not what the Me Too was, and they've destroyed.
Well, they've tribalized it.
And now it's just one of those things where Me Too is considered a joke.
That's the problem with any big movement. I mean, we're not going to talk about it, but look at Black Lives Matter.
Yep.
Anytime the more followers you gain, the more diluted the message becomes.
The bigger the mob, the dumber it becomes.
Yeah, and more violent at that. And I'm not talking Black Lives Matter. I'm just talking like how they are willing to not hear anybody else out. You know, it's like on Twitter, people aren't. You used to be able to say, "Well, I don't believe it." And people would be like, okay, well, you don't believe me. I think you're dumb for not believing me. Now it's come to the point where if you even so much as say, hey, I just want to know what the whole story is, you're a monster.
Yeah.
And that's so insane.
And it's like that with every topic.
Mm-hmm.
Every topic is that way now.
There are very, very few black and white issues. In my opinion, I think everything is way more complex than it gets made when you have a million people talking about it. You know what I mean? Like it becomes, and I think, and I'm not to sound like our dear president, but I think the media is in many ways to blame for that.
Oh well, they egg on one side
because it's much more. Mm-hmm. It's much more digestible to the public at large if it's this or that.
Well, the days of Walter Cronkite sitting in front of a camera and having a piece of paper and reading you the news are far, far over.
Yeah.
Now it's let's go to Kelly and see what her opinion is while she has a panel of 4 different people telling you what their opinion are and what your opinion should be based off of that.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, the president today signed the bill to send us to war. No, it's, the president signed this bill, which is actually a racist bill because, you know what I mean? Like it's...
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those things now where every topic has turned into you're either with us or you're against us. And if you're against us, then I'm going to do everything I can to destroy you. Your livelihood, everything.
Soul Creek, I was referencing our dear president. Anytime anybody that is a journalist or a reporter says anything
that's fake news,
negative about him, it's either fake news or the media is out to get him. Yeah.
Good. You meant the news stuff? Well, no, there was a time in our history, Mr. Soul Creek, there was a very famous newscaster named Walter Cronkite. And he was famous because he did nothing but sit in front of the camera and read the news.
He gave the facts.
Yep. That's all he did.
And he didn't sensationalize it.
Because news in Germany is still like that, just a guy reading the news. I wish it was like that here. I really do. And most Americans do. You know? If we still were presented, well, that's what I think, though, if we were still presented news in that way, then people in Twitter, I would hope, you know, and usually is a trickle-down effect, people as a populace in general and in Twitter would probably go, okay, let's trickle down and be a little bit more level-headed, be like, let's hear the fact. Instead of, kill them all!
Well, everybody gets up in an uproar now, and you have the issue of if you don't like the way that the news is being said on one channel, you just go up one channel and you have a completely different opinion on the whole thing, and look, it matches what I say.
Yep.
So now what I'm saying is factual because it's on the news.
Well, and it happens, and that's why in Twitter you have these. That's how these tribes are formed, because people form little echo chambers. I think the worst thing anybody can do on any social media platform is block somebody who doesn't agree with them. It's the worst thing.
Well, and
how about just even if you hate everything they say, you're at least being exposed to the other side of the story.
Soul Creek, we can't.
Soul Creek,
your
that
video doesn't help us because we.
That video's too German.
We can't speak German.
Wait, maybe I can catch some words. Hold on.
The thing is, they'll take a story that's like, college student is assaulted by professor, and one news story will say, young, house. What is the term? What am I trying to say? Home wrecking young co-ed smears professor in a campaign of accusations.
Wait, are we talking about
and then
porn?
the other news station will say, co-ed speaks out against her, abuser. Abusive professor, and he did not blah blah blah. Whereas both stories are leading you to believe one person's story over the other, instead of just saying this person accused this person of this, and we're waiting to see if it's accurate. Like, nobody just says that anymore.
Nope.
You know?
Well, just like how you can't debate with people anymore.
Nope.
Yep.
It's
because soon as you get to a point,
you're wrong or you're right according to that individual.
Yeah. As soon as you get to a point where either one of where they have to present facts they don't know, and that's another problem with social media and even nerd culture for an example. Nobody is willing to say, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, nobody just can say, I don't know. Like, they have to, so if I don't know, I have to be defensive and I have to use either an ism or ist word against you.
That, and it's one of those things where now it seems like people see things as their opinion is the only one that truly matters.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not. The opinion of everybody matters, first of all. And on top of that,
or none of them
without having a conversation with somebody who disagrees with you, you will never be able to see and look at things in a way that you've never thought of before. That's the whole point of having a debate and a conversation, is to get another point of view, which you can still disagree with, but it might change your opinion.
I think it's,
everybody
unfortunately,
goes into it as you're right, I'm wrong, and I have to prove why you're wrong.
Yep.
Nobody's willing to say, you know what, I don't have enough information to have an opinion about that.
I will say that about everything all day.
And that is my go-to, like when people ask me about the military, foreign relations, should we be bombing these people or should we be, I'm going to tell you every time, I'm not briefed by the DoD, so I can't really have an opinion about that because I'm not given enough information to know.
Well, I mean, you can have an opinion, but it's like Mr. Soul Creek said. I think that quote is perfect. Not every opinion matters, but not all opinions have equal value.
Sure. No, that's a really good way to put it. It's like
a person can have an opinion about I'm not vaccinating my children because of X. If they're just, for lack of a better word, a Karen, sitting in, her house versus, 14-year, 10-year doctor at, whatever hospital who says, no, you really should because X, Y, Z. I'm going to believe the doctor's opinion more than I believe Karen.
Hey, JJ's here.
I'm sorry?
Sorry, you can't see Facebook, but JJ's here. He says he loves the shirts.
Oh, cool.
He is a 22 killer, so.
22 killer.
22 killer.
It's 22 Killian.
Yeah, whatever.
That sounds better.
22 killer.
But now he lost my
See, this is but this is why I hate politics, and I never talk anything related to politics ever. Politics is nothing but people who think they're smarter than everyone else.
What happened to the way that I was raised of you don't talk politics, you don't talk about religion, and there was another one.
Politics, religion.
Those are the two that I was raised in
money. Politics, religion, and money.
Yeah.
Those are the three things you never talk to anybody about. And people threw all that shit out the window. Now nobody shuts up about it.
Yeah.
Everybody talks and nobody listens.
That's because it's all been integrated into everything we do now. You can't play a video game. Look at The Last of Us 2. You can't play a video game without somebody saying it's political. You can't do anything without it.
Sounds pretty political.
So if you just like the game, The Last of Us 2, and by the way, nobody spoiled it. AD and Tara are still doing their playthrough.
So, Crick, that's pretty much how I feel, except I would substitute alcohol with video games.
What? That there's always alcohol in video games? What?
No. He said, the world sucks, people suck, alcohol is his only salvation.
Oh, well, that's fair. But yeah, that's what. But even video games are getting tainted. AD. I mean, you can't play a video game now. I mean, what was the last time that you and I, in recent history, the last year or two, that we've been able to play a video game that hasn't become politicized? At some
Kirby.
point?
I played Kirby. That's
you can't
political.
politicize Kirby.
Exactly.
Animal Crossing for the win.
Actually, they have politicized Kirby because now they're saying Kirby is the representative of the transgender community because he has no gender. They are bogarting Kirby.
Okay. Well, there's people, and then there's reality. I still maintain that Animal Crossing is political free, pandemic free.
I think for the most part, Japanese games stay away from politics.
I will agree with that. And that's one of the reasons why I wish I liked Japanese games more.
Shut up, Leroy. Don't you taint my escape.
Oh, wait, that's right. Animal Crossing is about the evilness of capitalism because you're always in debt in that game.
It's not. You can choose. You can choose, like Nerdy Wife refuses to go in debt. She doesn't do anything until she's saved up the...
Hey, Nerdy Wife, did you go in debt?
Yeah, I went in debt.
Well, that's fine. I mean, it happens. But I'm just saying, you have that choice.
I wanted a bigger house. I needed more storage.
Yeah, it happens.
Speaking of video games, how about
I
we change
really
it up
need to
a
get
little
on there
bit?
and play that again.
How about we change it up a little bit and talk about video games for a change?
We can. Well, I wanted to hit one more
that's what
streamer.
we just transitioned to.
Yeah.
What are video games? Tell me about these things.
I wanted to hit one more streamer controversy before we go, if we could. And this is one nobody knows the information for, but it's really interesting.
Who is it?
Did you guys know Dr. Disrespect was completely banned?
I saw that. I saw the video of him finding out that he was basically done.
Yeah, gone. They destroyed his channel, all of his VODs, and Discord. Terminated their partnership with him.
So
and we don't know why.
Yeah, during his last stream, we saw that he got a text, and as soon as he read it, he seemed really upset,
uncomfortable.
The stream cut off kind of abruptly. People speculated that the police had showed up and arrested him on the spot, but then he he actually tweeted later on saying that, I'm still trying to find out why Twitter has,
Or
banned
Twitch.
me or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Twitch, yeah. So, I mean, obviously he's still
Well,
there.
I mean, he's
So-
perma-banned. His emotes got banned. People got refunded their...
Is there no... Well, I guess that's not something that I want to necessarily...
Is there no what?
What?
You were asking, is there no what? No, I'm curious what Tara was going to ask.
Well, I was going to say, is there any speculation? But then it's like...
It's nothing but speculation.
We just...
There's a lot of speculation.
Like, and I guess what I'm asking is there wild theories, but is there anything that somebody has pointed out in a stream of his that they think might have been the case?
I mean, it's Dr. Disrespect. He lived off of being edgy. That was his thing. But he didn't...
They are going after Ninja, by the way.
They're going after Ninja now, too?
They are going after Ninja.
Oh, Jesus.
I saw that today.
Who's they?
The mob.
The Me Too mob.
Yeah. But, no, so I'll leave that alone. But the Dr. Disrespect thing, I think, is way more interesting because we've kind of beaten that horse, a little bit too much.
Yeah, what's up with...
The Dr. Disrespect, one of the... some of the people think that somebody came out privately, like you recommend them doing, Tara, to Twitch and said this is what happened, and Twitch said, you know what, you're gone. I tend to believe that that's not the case. I think that one of two things happened. One, Dr. Disrespect did something legally bad, and he did get arrested, but now he's out, but he's trying to say, I don't know why Twitch did this. Or two, there was a whole bunch of rumors for the last 6 months now that he was trying to move, he was going to move to Spotify when Spotify launched their own streaming service.
Really? I didn't even know
Yes. Yep. Spotify is working on their own streaming service with like Google, I guess, and everything, and they're trying to basically be the new Twitch. And Dr. Disrespect apparently was in cahoots with them, and since he just signed a multi-million-dollar contract with Twitch, supposedly Twitch found out that the cahoots were real, and they said, nope, and said, you're gone. Violation of contract, we're terminating everything. The only thing in my theory that is kind of a thorn in it is that why would then Discord discontinue their partnership with Dr. Disrespect? Unless Discord has some sort of partnership or contract with Twitch in specifics, but I don't
Are you talking about him working on an alternative?
What, an alternative thing, like a streaming platform? Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was just decided to search Dr. Disrespect on Twitter just to see what people were saying, and that was a theory that him and some other big names were working on a streaming platform.
Ninja and Shroud.
Him, Ninja, and Shroud? Well, Ninja and Shroud moved to Mixer, and Mixer fell through.
Rumor has it the three of them are looking at dropping their own streaming.
I would love it if they did it. A streaming platform made by streamers?
Well, also, I would love it. Also, I would love it if Ninja and Shroud didn't come back to Twitch, because...
See, now, and there's also a Twitch employee who has anonymously shared, so they don't get in trouble, I guess, and lose their job, that he's being investigated by police for soliciting sex from a minor in Oregon.
Well,
now,
I'm
per our previous conversation, I want to say he's being investigated.
Well, I'm surprised in this day and age, if that were to be true, after everything we just spent the last, how long have we been live? 2 hours?
Less than 2 hours. Yeah, almost 2 hours.
Of everything we've been discussed for the last almost 2 hours, that nothing about that, other than one supposed Twitch employee, has been brought out into the public eye with a I'm sorry, Dr. Disrespect is probably the biggest, or one of the biggest video game streamers out there. I find that I think it has. I would almost be willing to bet money. I won't because I have none. It's more about that business deal. I think it was probably a breach of contract for him to try to do stuff outside of
someone said he signed an exclusive agreement with Twitch in March.
Yeah.
So it could have easily just been a violation of that agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting, and you know what it could also be, and this is really kind of more out in left field, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. Remember how I said Dr. Disrespect it lives his whole thing off of edginess?
Sure.
This could also be some crazy publicity stunt.
Yep.
I mean, he is known to do crazy. I mean, he was the one who was temporarily banned because when he was videotaping at TwitchCon, he didn't think about turning off his cameraman when he went to the bathroom to take a piss. So he was videotaping in a bathroom, and they lost their minds about that. Nobody saw anything, but I see why.
See, I don't know, because now you've got another Twitch staff member anonymously posting that it's because he cheated on his wife.
Now that one's out. That one's out. I did research on that. That is a real thing that happened. He really did cheat on his wife. He actually stopped streaming for like a month or so to get his affairs in order. He's still with his wife, by the way, from what I understand.
She came out in support of him.
Yeah, and she's supporting him. So that's definitely
as of 15 hours ago, his actual Twitter account, he said, Twitch has not notified me on the specific reason behind their decision. Firm handshakes to all for the support during this difficult time.
That is why I 100% believe that it has something to do with the business deal transaction.
Yep.
I think he did something against his contract. And
Okay. Let's not spend too much time on speculation.
Yeah, but it's fun.
No. It's not why we're
All right, Eddie, what game news do you have for us?
I don't know. I just want to change.
You
you got to come with something.
No.
You can't transition us to dead air.
Let's talk about Mixer.
I mean, I have more controversies if you want.
Let's talk about the Mixer deal and how that's kind of
controversial. Okay. What do you want to talk about the Mixer deal?
I don't know. I mean, we got pretty much everybody is going to come over to Twitch now, right? Unless this new deal, whatever the fuck it is, happens.
Well, Twitch is giving people the opportunity if they want to, but everybody who is monetized on Mixer will now automatically be monetized on Facebook. They have the Facebook gaming streaming.
Yeah, but so Facebook is also Facebook, which turns a lot of people away.
Yeah, so. But I mean, are you really going to? Because if you went to Mixer and you were doing things on Mixer and you're monetized on Mixer, which means you weren't monetized on Twitch, which means you had to come to Twitch and start all over. If you're guaranteeing, okay, I'm going from this platform to this platform, I'm staying at the same level of monetization that I was before, most people are going to go with it, I think. Which, I mean, could be a good thing. Maybe Facebook will get better. I'm surprised Mixer went under before Facebook went under.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I didn't see that coming.
I thought Mixer was
I didn't think Mixer was going to run very long.
Well, I thought they were going to run no longer than they did, considering the fact they just bought up a crap ton of streamers. I mean, they wasted
all their money on those streamers.
Well, and Microsoft had to pay out the contracts to them. That's the thing. They received the full extent of their contract as if they had been on Mixer the whole time. So they got all that money, and now they get to go to whatever platform they want. So they're basically getting to double dip.
I mean, wow. I'm wondering what...
You're in a frame of it.
Damn it, now you made me forget what I was saying.
I'm sorry, I just
think when a business goes under, clearly some decision was made that was not in the company's best interest. And it's impossible to know what that is unless you're looking at their financials,
Yeah.
Steam summer sale, you say? What do we got?
Oh, there's all sorts of stuff on sale. Are you going to talk about Steam Summer Sale? It's actually pretty good this year. Have you looking at it?
Got Dirty Daughter again.
Opening Steam.
Oh, yes, I did get Nerdy Daughter a game. It's called, what is it?
I don't know, but it's
Something Herds. Oh, Deb's fighting herds. And she's a bunch of My Little Pony characters. Not My Little Pony, but, they're definitely My Little Pony spin-offs.
Yeah, yeah.
Characters.
I can get behind that.
They're fighting each other.
What is this?
It's pretty funny.
I mean, she sat over here at
games?
Skynet playing it for a few hours yesterday.
Where's this shit? I can't get jiggy with this shit.
Yeah, what? Why?
I click on the summer sale link, and it takes me to a bunch of game items for sale. Like, where are the actual games?
It says thousands of games, and yet they were all just not
that's
games.
that's just your stickers for your profile and everything.
Okay, so here's
You actually have to scroll down to see what games are on
Oh,
sale.
you scroll down. Don't tell me what to do.
Sorry, I was just trying to help.
Right.
House Flipper.
House Flipper.
Ooh, Dead by Daylight's 60% off.
Sounds like a Terra game.
It's totally a Terra game.
Dead by Daylight, it's a multiplayer game, isn't it?
No,
House-
I think they're
House
talking about
Flipper.
House Flipper. I want to flip a house.
Right?
We should have Tara and Nerdy Wife play
Don't you
Dead
have
by
to be
Daylight.
pretty strong to
Let's
flip a
not.
house?
I would think, but like I have muscles.
Okay. Hey, the South Park franchise. Pretty great.
78% off.
I bought them already.
Damn it. I missed it.
Borderlands franchise is 93%
Assassin's
off.
Creed, Star Wars, Need for Speed franchise. Everything.
Pummel Party looks like it would be entertaining to watch.
What game?
Go up. There you go.
Hummel Party?
Tomb Raider. I already have all the Tomb Raiders, unfortunately.
I mean, it seems very much Facebook kill your time game.
Yeah. Yeah.
The problem is all of these games, all of these games that interest me that are on sale are games I already have.
Yeah, that's because we're streamers and we have a huge library of games. Have you actually looked at how many games you
these
have?
types of sales are good for people like me who are way behind the times, and
Absolutely.
You can just experiment.
we can
with
catch
everything.
up on all the franchises that we've
Look,
missed.
Devil May Cry franchise, yay!
Absolutely.
Jurassic
Mortal
World.
Kombat.
See, what I like doing is when the Steam Summer Sale is not going on, I just add everything to my wish list. Things that I'm like, that would be kind of cool, but I'm not spending the money to buy it right now. And then when the Steam Summer Sale goes, I'm like, oh look, Starbound's 40% off. Magica 2, 75% off, so $3.74. And we actually talked about playing that game together. Magica 2. So it's $3.74 right now.
We did talk about that, but then I kind of lost
What's
interest.
Don't Starve?
Oh, you and Nerdy. Oh, my goodness.
Wait, which one?
Don't Starve.
I don't.
Is that the one in the dark?
Yeah, that's the one in the dark with like the weird like paper-esque looking.
Yes!
Open
my
world
God.
survival
You guys
crap.
should play that game
It would be
together.
fun.
Yeah,
You guys should play that game together.
I don't
Because that's the one you bought before.
Is it
I
hard?
did.
Soul Creek says it's hard.
That's what I was thinking. I've seen it, and it just looks like I don't.
It is very hard, but
I survived longer than he did.
she does. You have to work together.
Yeah, it is
Oh,
very
I'm
much
not good at
teamwork.
that. I don't play well with others.
Yeah, but you play well with Nerdy Wife.
Yeah,
That's
the
true.
game is called Don't Starve Together, so you
Yeah,
have to.
so I mean, you guys should play that.
Well,
together.
because they have Don't Starve, and then there's Don't Starve Together.
Farming simulator. Nerdy.
Yeah, see, I don't like the farming simulators because it's only big farming. You can't have like chickens and goats, and I don't want goats, but geese and all those other things.
Grand Theft
Nerdy
Auto
boy.
AD.
Oh my God.
The whole
I
thing.
already got Grand Theft Auto easy or for free from Epic.
5, 4, San Andreas, and 14 more games. Holy
Wow,
shit.
14 games, eh?
That's too much Grand Theft Auto.
That's a lot of Grand Theft Auto.
But you can never have too much Grand Theft
Oh,
One
yeah,
Grand
you
Theft
can.
Auto is too much for me.
No. It's like Fast and the Furious. You can always have more.
No. Fast and Furious is different. I want all of the Fast and Furious.
What am I scrolling down for?
No, stop.
What?
I wanted to know what that one was.
I already own
Hollow Knight?
2 of those.
Hollow Knight is like
there's 3.
Oh, is there?
Before the
Ori,
storm.
but harder.
But we
and
don't
not
really play
cute.
that.
Not on that one.
Oh, okay, we're back to the beginning. That was a lot of stuff.
That's quite a sale.
Hollow Knight is great, yes, but it's definitely not a nerdy white game. She would die very much. You know what? Now that you said that, though, I don't have Don't Starve, do I? Not on PC.
Oh no!
Don't join.
Well, have to be
Don't be a
Don't Starve
joiner.
together.
Oh, there you go. Don't Starve Together is only $5 right now?
I'd say
No,
Heavy
it's
Rain is
still
still $17.
Oh my god! Why?
Don't Starve Together
Why?
starter pack. Here we go. $4.21.
$17.91. That's 17 too much.
That's almost a 10-year-old game, and it's oh my god! Why?
I think that at this point they should be paying me to take that game off of their hands.
Wait,
which
no.
one?
Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls.
Okay, I do.
That's actually really
Basically
stupid.
any David Cage
You know,
game.
that's actually really stupid because when we played Heavy Rain, I got it off of PlayStation for free
Nice.
because it was free with PlayStation Plus or whatever the fuck it's called.
Nice.
How many games did you download?
Last of Us Part 2 sales are already over 4 million copies. You know,
because
I still
let's
haven't
talk
even
about that.
I still haven't even played the game, but I think it's very suspicious that when I'm looking on Facebook from PlayStation
I thought.
comments and shit, everyone is like, "Oh, this game is so great. I don't see what all the bad reviews are about." Like, I haven't even played the game, and I call bullshit on those reviews. It's all positive.
I wonder how
all
much
positive.
they would pay me to make a positive review.
Like, you look at the Facebook comments on PlayStation, it's like nothing but positive comments, or not, even if not like super positive, just like, "Oh, the game wasn't that bad."
Nothing says by me like, well, it was better than bad.
Yeah.
I agree. Hi, Ace. Soul Creek, I agree. The number of sold copies of a sequel only tells you how good the first game was.
Yeah.
I agree. Because it's like you can't unbuy it after you've bought it and played it and hated it. You know what I mean?
We did see some gameplay footage from the Avengers game coming out, which looks pretty cool.
What's Nerdy Daughter doing?
I have no idea what Nerdy Daughter is doing. You might want to ask Nerdy Daughter what she's doing.
Wait. Go back up. Pokemon Unite?
Is a mobile style game for Switch and mobile.
I don't know what that means. What's MOBA?
Blah, blah, blah.
Multi.
Multiplayer online battle arena.
Oh, no thank you.
Yeah, it's not a Terra game.
Not a Terra game.
Return copies of Last of Us 2 also breaking records. I'm sure I'll be returning mine as soon as we finish.
Yeah. You haven't even. Did you start it yet?
No, shit just keeps happening, man. Life is happening. and stuff.
There's a lot of life that has happened behind the scenes.
But now that we're set in our new place, we probably gonna start this week. Probably, most likely, maybe, possibly.
Definitely, maybe.
We gotta do it. We gotta get
Definitely, maybe Tuesday.
it. Hey, Witcher.
I need to psych myself out.
Witcher Season 2 resumes production in August.
Yay!
Michael Keaton could return as Batman.
Shut up. I approve of that. It's better than fucking what's his face? Twilight dude
person.
or Ben Affleck. Both terrible choices.
Ben Affleck was fine.
He was mediocre at best.
I liked Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne better than Christian Bale's.
They were two different Bruce Waynes. Christian
Yeah,
Bale was the
Bruce
Dark
Wayne.
Knight.
I'm
Ben Affleck was Batman.
offended. I'm not easily offended, but I'm offended. This is my offended face.
Oh no, we're about to get canceled because Tara got offended. What happens when a person gets offended on their own channel? Do we report ourselves?
We have to self-cancel.
Facebook.
But I will say this: whatever the opposite of chauvinism is, like, I loved Christian Bale as Batman for very objectifiable reasons. I just loved him for his sexiness. I care not for his brain.
You loved him for his penis.
Yes. So I'm willing to admit.
I think Christian Bale played Batman's penis better than.
Really? We're having this conversation?
Yes. Christian Bale was Christian Bale was a better representation of Batman's penis.
Yep.
I don't know.
I would like to say, and I know that Nerdy Wife stepped away, but Soul Creek brought it up last night when we were doing our test stream.
Yeah.
In the new location. The summer update for Animal Crossing allows you to swim in the ocean, which means bathing suits and...
Oh, you should tell her this. She's just back. By the way, AD, check your inbox. Now Tara and Nerdy Wife have no excuse.
So, Nerdy Wife, I don't know if you saw, there's a trailer on Facebook was where I saw it, but the summer update for Animal Crossing has expanded the beaches. Now you can swim in the ocean, and you can like dive and catch sea creatures and stuff, and you get a cute little old-timey bathing suit, and it's like I'm ecstatic. I can't wait to play it.
No, we're not housemates. I'd come to her house to stream.
Yeah, we just we moved our streaming location into my spare bedroom.
We are not an item. We are not housemates, and we do not live nearby. Not that nearby. I don't know, 20 minutes or so.
20 minutes, 13 miles-ish.
So,
not bad.
No.
I mean, we're from the country, so that's like next door.
Steam message? Why would you send me a message on Steam? That's just a weird place to send people messages.
Because it's got an attachment on it.
Probably because it's...
Go look at it.
Is it a gift?
It's a gift. It even says gift.
I can't click on it. Oh my god, Steam is broke.
AD's... He's new. Give him a moment.
Okay, it's Don't Starve.
I have a new game to suck at.
Oh, well, I can choose to decline the gift.
Don't do it.
Okay.
I said you Don't Starve and Don't Starve together. They're like on super sale, so now we both have it. So
we can play. It's actually fun.
It is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Even if it's one of the few games that makes losing fun.
Yeah, everybody was getting a kick out of you dying.
I know. The death is hilarious.
They do.
Let's see.
Oh wait, I have 29,000 points. What can I do with that?
I had like 40 some odd, and I started
Awesome,
to spend
so great.
some.
You can buy useless items.
Oh, that's what all these stupid items are.
Yeah.
Hey, they were
You could take your useless points and exchange them for useless items.
Oh, I can get an avatar frame with a dragon.
That's very Asian of you.
No, I got the what did I get? I got the background. That's water, and then I got the. I didn't get the avatar frame. I'm getting the orange one because orange is cool. Oh no, I do have it.
Drive with that mouse.
You want what? Huh?
Drive with that mouse. Click on the link.
Think of what link? You got me double-fisted mousing.
What's this trailer?
Oh, wow.
What is
That sounds wrong.
this Animal Crossing? It's Animal Crossing.
Looks like Animal Crossing.
And it's loading.
It came on like.
Yay!
It's loading. You can't.
It's making me so happy.
Why'd you close out of it?
I was
Heavy
looking
Rain
to see
still
if-
18 euros while Mirror's Edge is 2.
A starfish!
Oh,
I mean, a sea
Oh,
star.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. You
Can you
donate
drown?
him to Blathers.
Can you
An
drown?
anemone!
And an enemy.
I love it.
Wait, there's an aquarium you can go look
A
at?
scallop?
Yes.
Oh, hey, it's an otter.
You're ruining
want
it
an
for us. We're
otter.
not seeing the otter yet. We're like a couple seconds ahead of us.
My bad,
Stop
my bad.
ruining it.
I was just excited.
I could start ruining things for you. I can tell you about The Last of Us.
What a cute house. Oh,
What did she do?
See how she held back that spoiler from what she just saw?
I literally held it back with my hand.
I'm totally playing today.
I have to leave, guys. I have to go play Animal Crossing immediately.
But that's
Right?
not all.
Oh, there's a second one?
Summer update number 2.
I didn't even make it this far.
Oh, they're not going to tell you what number 2 is.
Well, damn
okay.
it.
But there's gonna be more.
But there's more.
But wait.
I mean,
Sand
there's
castles?
I'm so excited about
Soul
this.
Creek.
I'm-
Animal Crossing music is like it's like a sedative almost. Like it just brings my blood pressure down by like 20 points immediately as soon as I hear it.
you say so.
The talking is annoying though. It drives me crazy.
I
want to be able to fast forward a little bit.
yeah.
I know.
I wish I could turn the talking volume down or off. I agree. But the music is quite nice.
I'm okay with the music,
It's-
but the talking just needs to stop.
Speaking of games, hey AD, I started my playthrough of the Spider-Man game.
Okay.
That game's fucking awesome.
It's fun. It's fun as hell. It's a great Spider-Man story, too.
Dude, they got the freaking web slinging so down perfect.
Yeah, it feels
I would
great.
just- I was just having fun just like web slinging through the city. I didn't care. It was awesome. I'm enjoying that quite a bit. At AC, damn it, AC is Assassin. It's not Assassin.
Assassin's Creed.
God damn it!
Yes, he means Assassin's Creed.
No.
No. As soon as I read updates are for free, I was like, it can't be Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
It just can't
Yeah,
be.
that is not a thing.
Yeah, no.
I like that you
Speaking
get
of stuff like that, do you have like a feeling of just emptiness this summer though, AD, when it comes to like video game announcements? Like
Announcements?
usually
It's
about
called
now.
Corona.
Well, yeah, usually about now, everybody's talking about what was announced at E3, and we're discussing it.
Well,
and then
I mean, I think
and then Gamescom is coming, and everybody's discussing and speculating what's going to happen there. None of this stuff is happening. I just feel
I think the
empty as a
PlayStation
gamer.
show was pretty exciting with all the shit we saw there.
Yeah, but I don't think any of that's coming out till next year.
Now some of it's coming out at launch. Holiday.
Leroy has
Yeah,
been empty for 2.5 years.
At launch, when
Aw,
nobody's going to have the money.
Leroy.
What did Leroy say, huh?
He's been empty for 2.5 years. All right, Gertie just went there with it.
Yep.
Right. Anyway. So,
In other
Inappropriate.
noob news, I have fallen madly in love with Persona 5 and actually want to play the other seasons. We're
that
still.
game is weird.
I am not going to argue
You're
with that,
weird.
but it doesn't make me love it any less. In fact, maybe might make me love it a little bit more.
You're weird, nerdy. We still keep you around.
Like, I love the metaphor. I love the game style.
What's the metaphor? I don't understand what the metaphors are. Maybe that's why it's so weird to me.
the
Because
metaphor is
why-
that society sucks.
Well,
Adults suck.
These castles are the physical manifestation of people's distorted desires. And the personas that the action heroes are using are personalities that they take on that have different
Personifications of their rebel.
and I feel like it makes me want to go figure out, because I feel like I have different personas. Like I have this new gaming persona that brings out different parts of me, but I also have a very like girly persona that loves hair and makeup and shoes, and then I have the very like English literature persona where I look at things very objectively and I want to like analyze it. And so like that's a pretty kind of mundane example because it's me, but this game I'm fascinated by it, and it's very Japanese, so I like that it's totally non-Western, not how us whiteys think or approach things. And yep, I said that. And I have always identified with, this whole mask thing. We put on different masks for different things that we encounter in different situations, and I just really like it. Like, I love it.
But remember, we're not going to sell Nerdy on it because he doesn't like stories.
No, and that's not why I bring it up. I'm just sharing for anybody out there that...
Wait. Did you say I don't like stories?
Well, you don't like stories that you're not the author
You don't
of.
like to be told a story. You like to tell your own story.
We decided... I think we were playing Persona when we decided that might be an indicator of a little bit of a God complex.
It is.
Just a smidge.
Wait, you think I have a God complex now? I mean, it makes sense. I go out, and whenever I release the geese, I'm like, go forth, my minions. Yeah, I do it all the time. Donald's heard me a couple times, just kind of stared at me.
Feeling okay?
I mean,
I think Nerdy's broken.
I like stories. I just hate having to be told I have to hear the story this way.
Yeah.
I'm basically the worst person to take to the movies.
I mean, it's
you're
fine.
sitting there you're watching the movie. Well, why isn't he doing this? This would be a better idea. And Nerdy wife's staring at me, but she knows that's how my sister and I are like when we watch scary movies.
I'm not even joking. Nerdy and I have not been to a movie theater together
Years.
since right after the Nerdy boy was born.
Yep.
So it's been, 11 years.
Years.
It's fine.
That's, yeah.
Years, yeah.
But I will
That way
say...
he can at least pause it during his remarks so I can go back to watching the movie uninterrupted.
In Persona, though, you do get to choose how you spend your time, which
That's
is
not
nice.
enough, though, because how you spend your time doesn't change the story, which is what Nerdy wants.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. I must have control all the time.
Nope.
You're a control enthusiast. It's fine.
As unrealistic as that is. I mean...
Don't worry. I'm glad you called it enthusiast, but I'm going to call it what it is, a complex. It affects ways in real life. It's okay.
Basically, what we're saying, Nerdy, is you have issues.
I have
He does.
many issues.
But, many issues. Our issues endear us to one another, don't they?
You should watch how it should have ended on YouTube? No, because then I'd argue with them, too.
No. Nerd doesn't want to hear how other people think it should have ended.
No.
He wants to hear how he thought it should have ended.
Obsidian, you're just as bad with talking during movies, especially if it's a scary one.
Oh, yeah.
Or one that's just flat out stupid.
Oh, yeah, dude. I have an entire list of movies we're watching when you get here.
Like, what was that one that we watched?
Oh, one of the most fun movies to watch with Obsidian is when we're watching...
the Beaver one.
Oh my God, Zombie Beavers! Zombievers is so... If you want to watch a really bad movie...
Wait, Beavers?
It was
I thought you said
so
Beaver.
bad.
No,
Zombie Beavers.
Yeah, like beavers.
Okay.
So, like the whole...
It was so bad.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad, but it was... Look at him. No! Yes. Oh, that movie was awful, but it's hilarious if you're making fun of it. But no, one of the best ones to watch with Garza is like a horror movie.
Yeah,
like
I said that already.
But no, what is that? What are those series I really like?
Paranormal Activity.
Paranormal Activity, because like every fucking few minutes he's like, and the La Chancla. We need the La Chancla and the Mexican granny.
Yeah, he'd pause the movie and tell you this is how you get demons.
Yeah, this is how you get demons. We're not doing this. Oh my god!
That was bad.
So excited.
Yeah, Leroy, I hate that too. It's horrible.
Yeah, I have to stifle my inner grammar Nazi most of the time.
That is the worst thing about grammar today.
Is that nobody knows how to use it?
I can get past mixing up there, and there.
See, I can't. And I know that that's completely, judgmental of me, but I can't because they're separate words and they should be used differently.
I have actually, every time I see somebody on Facebook saying should have, I really want to unfriend them.
I say should have all the time.
I probably. What? You say it, but do you spell it like that? How do you spell it?
How do I spell it?
Yeah.
SHOULD''VE.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a proper contraction, not should OF. Should of. That's not it. It should have. It's okay to contract it. It's not okay to entirely replace it with a preposition that doesn't belong there.
Wait, so they use OF?
Yes.
You've never seen that? It's like you can't look on social media without seeing people spell it should of.
I've discovered that my brain fixes people's.
And that's probably what it is. Like
Yeah.
it happens so often that you read it how it should be, but you're not noticing.
I have an issue with the there, and the your and your.
Yeah.
Oh, I make the there mistake all the time.
And I know that I have unreasonably
fix it
high
most of the time.
expectations. But if you're going to come at me and you're going to argue with me over the internet, you better freaking check your spelling because I'm going to think less of your argument.
I hate that shit. Yes, because
Don't attack me.
There, or where is really affecting the overall thought that I'm trying to portray to you.
Here's the thing. If you're being judgy and attacky, make sure your shit's straight. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
I hate that shit. I hate that shit so much. I'm having a perfectly normal conversation. I'm not even being judgy. We're just having a sometimes heated argument and they're like, "Go, you misspelled there." So, yeah. And I'm like,
maybe if you want to.
What does that have to do with what we're talking about?
Maybe if you want to have an intellectual argument,
what the hell
you
does that
should
have to do with
have checked
instruments?
your grammar.
And so in a normal conversation, I do stifle it, right? When we're just talking. But if you're trying to come at me and be clever and witty and an asshole, and you don't use the correct words, I'm going to annihilate you.
It's just going to put every ounce of that.
I'm going to be like, learn to use the English language and try that again. Because, it drives me nuts. But I do, 90% of the time, stifle that part of me. I do.
I have people I have discussions with who do it literally on purpose. They'll get me in a discussion, and we'll be going 3 or 4 posts in, and they'll be like, "You know what? You're wrong because you spelled there wrong here, and you used the wrong where here." And then I'll be like, "I hate you."
I know exactly.
See, my favorite response, if somebody says you're stupid and they spell you're wrong, my response is going to correct them. I'm just going to correct you.
Because that's the whole...
Because you just told me I'm stupid and you can't spell.
That's what I hate about the should've, could've shit, Leroy, is that at least there, and there, they're actually words. But should've, could've, it's not a thing ever.
It's not. Unless
there's a comma between them. Then it could be used. You should, of course, do this. That would work. But should of as a phrase is never a thing.
I think if you should, of course, because then you'd have to have a comma in there to separate that from the action because there's a pause there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That's what I'm saying. Should and of only work if there's ever a comma between the two words.
Yeah, because...
Well, Nerdy gets so worked up, he doesn't use periods.
Oh, yeah, that is my biggest fault. Tara would hate me online then. When I start typing stuff, there are
it is one long ass
punctuation marks don't exist.
Sentence. They don't.
I'm just going and going.
I will say that punctuation bothers me less than misspellings.
That drives me crazy. That drives me absolutely nuts.
Mm-hmm.
When he first started writing stuff on the Discord,
Oh,
he would have me come over and take a look, and he's like, "How does this sound?"
If I was making an announcement,
and then all of a sudden he hears me changing things.
Yeah, so I come
like,
over.
Yeah, he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, you needed a period there. You didn't capitalize your I."
Yeah. So I'm like, I didn't ask for an English teacher to fucking red ink my shit. I just want to know if that sounds okay.
And it did when I was done with it.
Love it.
Oh.
And then she wrote an F on it.
Try again.
Big red F.
To be fair, I get confused by what you type sometimes, Nerdy. I mean, sorry, I confuse myself sometimes. Do you not? Like, does it show on Discord if I edit something on my own post to show this post has been edited?
Yes.
Like, have you ever looked at any of my posts? I'll post something and like 5 minutes later, oh, edit. And then edit again because I'm like, oh no, I really meant to say this.
Now, we don't know how many times you changed it, but we know you
There have
changed
been
it.
posts I've edited at least 7 times. Awful. Awful at typing things out. I can get the thoughts out, but typing them through my fingers is not a thing I do well.
Typing is hard.
Right? Well, I'm better at
it's
typing.
not.
I can type it better now, but it doesn't.
Although I don't type nearly as fast as I used to.
She used to type and it sounded like freaking. You know those old movies where they go into like the big huge giant computers and you hear. That's what she sounded like typing all the time. It was freaking nuts. It was actually kind of really nice and relaxing.
Well, the part that's funny is the guy at work asked what that noise was because my keyboard is the only one in the entire building that actually clicks when you hit it.
I got her a gaming Red Dragon keyboard for
I have
our
a Red
bank
Dragon
office.
keyboard.
I have a mechanical
All of
keyboard
IT is
too.
jealous. Yeah, all of IT is jealous. It's fantastic.
Oh, it's funny.
But I was typing at work, and all of a sudden I hear, "What is that noise?" And I stop, and I'm like trying to listen. He's like, "Never mind, it stopped." All right, so I start typing again.
I've been doing that shit on fucking purpose.
It didn't take long for him to realize that it was my
Yeah,
keyboard.
I have the same. So, I prefer the mechanical keyboard because I have long nails and it's just easier, and I like the way it feels better. But it does. It sounds like I'm using a typewriter most of the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love the sound of typing.
And I've
The
gotten
only
a
thing-
lot faster with 10 key.
The only thing I wish I could add was the little ching noise when you go to the beginning of the
Every
next
time
line.
you hit enter.
Yeah.
I mean,
That
you
would
mean
be
like anytime
amazing.
you go to the next line?
Yeah, when you hit enter
Yeah.
or
you could do
return,
that.
I guess.
You could program that. You could so program that.
Because return on a typewriter is literally return to the beginning of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could so program that.
Maybe I shall.
We still have a typewriter at work, and
Do you really?
Yes, it is incredible at how many people are confused on what the fuck to do with it.
I want a typewriter.
Oh, it's one of the big ones too. Like, it literally takes up the full desk, almost.
That's cool.
Huge.
I don't know why I find typewriter
There was
I love
somebody at work the
typewriters.
other day that they were using it, and they're like, "There's a backspace on it."
cool. I need backspace on a typewriter.
They added them in the later models.
They added them in the later models. Yeah.
What the hell
But
is
my mom-
backspace on it?
I learned
No.
how to use a typewriter, like an old school typewriter, where if you made a mistake, you had to get the correction tape, put it
Yeah,
in
you
there,
type it
and press
then
the key
click it
again. Yeah.
Yep. My mom had one of those at her work.
I just figured you had to write the entire paper.
No, there was a little correction tape. Stick it in there.
Oh no, I just figured it that's why I figured it took so goddamn long for people older people to type books on papers. They make one mistake, they gotta throw that shit out.
Well,
Yeah,
there is a point where you have to, if you screw it up bad enough, it's not worth going that far with the correction tape, so you might start over. But if it's just one miskey, then you can pretty easily put the tape in there and punch it.
Yeah, that's not so bad. Now, if you fucked up the entire word, just redo the whole thing.
Yeah, you're done.
That's too much.
Redo.
So anytime I would type something, I'd be retyping the page every time because I put the wrong there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, typing on a keyboard with word processors has spoiled us to being able to type a little more sloppily, because when you learn how to type, they're telling you which button to use or which keys to hit with which fingers. And with word processors, it's really easy because we've learned how to use backspace just as quickly as we use the rest of the keys.
Well, it's gotten even worse with telephones because of autocorrect.
But back in the day, man,
Even Word documents.
you could
and
only be
emails have
fast if
autocorrect.
you were accurate and fast, because it was not easy to correct your errors.
It's like
Well,
old
yeah,
school games. You have
back
to worry
then,
about
typing
having
was a
actual
skill.
lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like in my emails that I send at work, I misspell additional every time I type it. Every time.
You're in a bank. How do you misspell additional?
Because I hit the I before I can hit the D twice.
Yeah,
So
you get ahead of yourself. Your right hand gets ahead of your left hand.
So you spell it.
But my email automatically corrects it. I know I misspell it every time because
Yeah.
I type faster.
Maybe
than...
your mind just wants to say it that way. Say Wisconsin.
No. Shut up.
Go ahead, say it.
No.
Say it.
I'm going to punch you.
Say it. Tell you, I'm going to get you to say that. Sure.
No, you are not.
I'm going to get you to say it.
I'm not going to say it. I can't say it right, so he makes fun of me.
There's all sorts of things that this relates to in games. AD mentioned lives, but there's also like auto aim and like.
Yeah.
Basically, we've been giving the cheat code for infinite lives.
Yeah.
We have?
And
What's the cheat code for Infinite Lives?
no, I mean, as far as typing on Word.
Oh, yeah. Well, we've been giving God mode with autocorrects.
Oh,
Yeah.
Leroy, as far as the old phones, my aunt still has hanging in her kitchen.
Oh, I love the
one of the
rotary
ones where
dial
you have
ones.
to hold the cup type looking thing to your ear.
Yep.
And then you. Yep, she still has one of
Oh,
those
she's one
in
of
her
those
kitchen.
ones? We have to like.
Yes.
Oh. No,
And it still works.
I like the rotary dial
Cool
ones.
thing
They're
ever.
like, shh. Shh. Shh.
Oh, I used to have one of those.
Oh, I love those. I don't know why, but I love them. If we get a house phone, I'm getting them.
Like, I had my grandma go out and specifically go find me one because I liked it.
Why do I am so obsessed with like this old shit?
I think it's because we're getting old.
It's because we're getting old?
Yeah, it's because we're old now.
What? Who said we were getting old?
You did when I turned 30. That's
Well, I mean, you
what
are
happened.
old.
Your age says you're getting old. Numbers don't lie.
I turned 30, and you said that we are old.
We are old now. We're 3 decades old. I mean, you can't say 3 decades without feeling old.
Then don't say it that
way. All right. We're 30% through millennia.
Our age has transcended across 2 millennia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still, don't say it that way. I'm not that old. You might be that old. I am not that old.
When we were born, the internet didn't exist.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
You know, that's why our generation is better at it than any other generation, because we grew up during the development of it, so we learned how to use it better.
Really? Obsidian. Bitch, you ain't old.
I know. That's what I'm trying to tell him.
Oh, we're old, man. See, I can accept
ancient.
we're old. You have to accept you're an antique.
I have been here for thousands of years. I'm ancient.
Zombie.
Probably.
Vampire.
Pavin is ancient.
Pavin's very ancient.
How old exactly is Pavin?
900.
I think he's transcended numbers.
Yep.
Okay.
Maybe he stopped counting at a certain point.
Like, I think he's gotten to the point now where he is a number. When you get to the point where you're like the age of the universe, it's just like, oh, you're Pavin. That's your age. You're a Pavin.
Yes.
Okay.
It's transcendence.
He just exists.
Does that apply to Gru too?
Who?
How old is Gru?
They both are very, very. I think they're like the same age. Maybe one's the devil and one's like God.
It's very possible.
I can see that. Gru is infinite, Nancy.
See, there you go. Numbers do not exist.
They are both demons.
They're not old.
They're both demons.
I mean,
what is a demon really other than like a fallen angel?
So technically, still an angel.
Yes. So technically, they were little angels when they were little, and then they became demons.
I think that's just people
In general.
in general, yeah.
Humans
Did I
evolved
tell you
from
that somebody
demons.
got mad at me for calling the children my demons?
Somebody got mad at you for that?
Yes.
Did you tell them to suck a dick?
I'd be like, I created them. I'll call them whatever I want.
Well, we had people who thought it was strange when we're like out and about and we just refer to the children as the boy or the girl. And
Well, now they think we do.
Why would you
because of that
disrespect
TV
your
show,
child like that?
Or that one movie or whatever.
Huh?
That one movie that was on Netflix that people are like flipping the fuck about because the kids' name were boy and girl, something like that.
Well, we do that in our family, like boy child.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah, it is the boy child and the girl child.
Yeah.
But apparently that's disrespecting your child if you're doing that.
Yeah,
No.
apparently that's disrespectful. And we're assuming their gender.
Yeah, it's disrespectful because you're assigning them a gender.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! I'm not getting into that conversation.
But I can't call them my little demons either, so...
I call them all sorts of crotch goblins.
Call my child fridge until they start showing.
Spawn. My dad calls us demon spawn sometimes.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know, just to make that person okay, just call them your little fallen angels.
There you go.
No, I won't even do that. Like, have you met my children? No. Bitch, keep your mouth shut.
You don't know how many exorcisms
no.
we had to have done.
I mean, they're not really demons all the time. But, yeah. They're children. They're all demons.
They're kind
Yeah.
of demons all the time. She just doesn't see it because she goes off to work. And
I mean, if you just saw the stupid look on the boy's face, then you would understand why I call them demons.
Yep.
All right, well, we have gotten to the point where we're discussing what we call our children. So I think
Yes.
we're getting to the end of the show. Before we end, though, did we want to cover what our schedule is for the next week?
Well,
Are we doing Untitled Nerd Show next week because it's 4th of July weekend?
I will
forgot
be
about that.
out of town. I will not be present.
I don't think I'm doing anything for 4th of July. I don't know. I might just hang out with the family, but I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say that next week's Untitled Nerd Show will not happen. Also, for all you
What
guys
day
who
is
watch
the 4th?
B&B,
Saturday.
Saturday.
yeah, for all you guys who watch AD and I on Wednesdays and Thursdays, I will not be here on Thursday, and I possibly may not be here on Wednesday either because I have to.
Nap.
I do have to nap. I know that's probably the oldest thing I've ever said on stream, but I do have to nap because I'm driving through the night. I have to have a nap because if I don't nap, I will drive off
I
the
told you
side
he
of the
was
road.
old.
That's awesome. That was a nice little segue.
I came home from work on my birthday last year and immediately took a nap.
Yeah, naps are
That's
great.
living your best life, in my
Naps
opinion.
are the best
Naps
ever.
are great. But
Naps are amazing.
So anyway, I will be streaming on regular days. Wednesday and Thursday, though, look for
Not
Nerdy
Wednesday.
Wife. She's probably going to be doing Wednesday and Thursday.
I can't do Wednesday unless it's after I get home from work.
Well, it might be after you're doing the work because I'll be napping.
There's that.
Or I'll stream in the morning. But
But we're going to do a girl stream on Thursday. Stay
Yep,
tuned.
Yes.
there will be a girl stream on Thursday, whether it's Kirby or Don't Starve Together, whatever you guys play. That'll be fun to watch.
We will be playing a game.
And
There's that.
What day are you leaving to go out of town, Tara? Is it
Friday.
Saturday? You're leaving Friday? Okay. And then Friday's up in the air for me. Depends on how tired I am from driving 30 hours-ish.
Also,
It's
this
not gonna
week,
be that
look for our start of Last of Us Part 2.
There you go. Last
Yeah.
Because we got to get that over with.
Tuesday's going to be... I have to mentally prepare. Fine.
So
Yes,
you're
you
always
actually
welcome to
very
swing
much
by.
do, Tara.
Well, I don't think Tuesday you'll have to mentally prepare.
Yes.
As we get further along, maybe.
No.
Wait, what do you have to prepare
Yes. Be mentally prepared on Tuesday. Have tissues.
for? What are you talking about?
On Last of Us 2.
What about it?
We're starting it on Tuesday.
Yeah. Be prepared.
Okay.
So,
There are events very early on in the game.
I know about most of those.
So just be prepared. Yes, be prepared. I have a shirt that's got Scar with it.
You do.
And it said I'm surrounded by idiots.
I got it for you.
I love that shirt.
That's awesome.
But all right, well, I don't have anything else. We're running in dead air. Do you guys have anything else?
No.
I don't think so.
All right, guys. I think this is where we're going to end the show. AD, take us out.
I don't even know if I feel like it. I'm really not feeling it right now. I don't know.
What? Taking us out?
No, I think just anticipating Last of Us kind of got me.
Yep, we got into a weird headspace.
We
there
have
for a
to
second.
prepare by being as bummed as possible, so it doesn't hurt when it actually.
But how do you
it's still
tell
gonna
if
fucking
AD's
hurt.
bummed or excited? Because his voice sounds the same in both instances.
That's my secret. You
That's
never
the
know.
secret to his success.
You never know.
He's like the Hulk. He's always angry. No,
That's
Yeah,
my
there you
secret.
go.
I'm always bummed,
There you go.
or I'm never bummed. You never know.
Never know. We've established AD has multiple voices. Does he?
He has
Oh,
multiple
yes.
voices?
Whenever something like irritates me, like we mentioned last night, it was my David Cage voice. When I get worked up about something, I do get a little high pitched. So
Watch for it. You'll hear it.
I was gonna
You'll
say
hear
I'm always energetic. You can always tell if I'm pissed,
Yeah.
angry.
Well, same. But, you know,
I have to watch.
the AD.
I'm gonna be like a creeper now and go back and watch all your VODs. I'd be like, "Where's the voice change?"
That's hilarious.
Oh
That's
my goodness! All right, I think it's time to go.
all right.
Ready, AD? Is it time to smile, wave?
Yes. Okay.
You can do it.
Fine. Yes. Good night. Goodbye, everyone. Thanks
Goodbye.
for hanging out.
Smile and wave,
Smile and
everybody.
wave.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.